right, guys, it's time for another great episode of your favorite show, The Space Bro Show. That's right, we're bringing you all the news and information every Friday night on the past week's happenings and crappenings of Star Citizen and our favorite company of making our favorite game of CIG. Guys, we have a special episode tonight for you. I'm super hyped about it, and, we got some awesome guests. And we're just going to leave them muted, I decided, for the entire episode. They're going to make hand puppets and, finger signs and all sorts of other things while we're here, and that's the way it's going to go. I'm just kidding. Oh, there we go. Paul's all over it already, guys. No, welcome with me as my co-host here. As always, we have Mr. Moonshiners in the house. There he is. Yep.
Mitauchi.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you, brother, as always. We have Mr. Eric McKetton, as always, with his usual audience. He's actually adapted his background to be in space. It's so awesome.
In space.
Space. And then we have the man fully prepared to be in space. We have the Astropub here with us tonight, who has not slept at all. Talk about hardcore, guys.
I'm running on like 36 hours of not sleeping. It's been 36 hours, so it'll be 40 by the time the show's over. So
if for no reason other than the fact it's just he's put in a good triumphant effort, man. You guys definitely need to follow the Astropub for sure. Even if you don't want any other reason to do it, Astropub's super awesome. He's been working his ass off, and he's had a great stream. I've been watching it all throughout the day and part of last night. It's been really good. So guys, let's go around the room. We kind of seen. We'll start with Astropub. So we mentioned he's been streaming. So what have you been doing this week? What's been going on with you? And tell us about this fantastic stream that you're still awake from.
So essentially, what happened was I was planning on going to TwitchCon and CitizenCon. I had everything planned out, and then kind of employment issues hit, and I ended up without money. And so the last minute, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to try to raise the money. I've got a couple weeks. Let's try to just go for it. And so I put together this 24-hour live stream. I got the time off of work, and I started it. Let people know, and you got everything. I had all this planned for like prizes and different stretch goals for getting within 24 minutes, the first 24 minutes of the stream, the community had pulled together and already funded me. And within the first 2 hours of the actual stream, they had broken over $2,000 in donations to get me and my wife to go to CitizenCon and TwitchCon. So the community is stupid generous, and now I'm proceeding to torture myself with not sleeping and messing with. Okay, they also for some reason, Disco Lando and Captain Xylo allowed me to rebroadcast or to simulcast the ATV. So I just spent that entire time being a goofy idiot and trying to with the show, so they could have the serious perspective and what the community actually thinks.
Do we have some of those GIFs available, Mitauchi? You should show that.
Yeah, we should just throw some. Can we get some links up on those? Or wait a minute, you got them in the Space Pro thing, right?
Yeah, actually, both of them in the Space Pro thing. Yeah, the ones that I have.
Yeah, we'll put them up there real quick.
Yeah, those are some pretty good stuff right there. Is Astropub even going to be able to stay up for the entire show? Man, all these people that
I tried to give him an out. I was like, I showed up this morning. I'm like, man, you've been working your ass off. You're doing all this stuff, and he's like, no, I'm gonna be there, man. So he's hardcore.
I'm like, the hard part's over with. I got 3 hours left, and I have no filter. So this is the perfect time for me to talk about Star Citizen, especially when Saitek's involved. Because
oh boy, there we go. We're already getting on that. I'm waiting. It's just spooling here. I don't know why it's not going over. The Giphy's not going over for me.
But yeah, for those of you that have not done it, when you do 24 or even 48 hours up straight, you reach a second win, a breaking point where you actually can't sleep. Like you've reached a point where you're so exhausted you can't fall asleep, and you wake back up. That was like half of the combat plans for us during the invasion of Iraq. They planned around the fact that we would get a second win and wouldn't have to sleep. It was genius military planning right there. Oh, they'll get so tired that they can't even fall asleep. Give them a gun.
Yeah, give him a gun. He'll be up like a zombie forever.
Give him a gun and tell him to go shoot other people. That sounds like a great idea.
Totally safety. They'll have helmets on. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, it really did reach the point where it was literally go that way. Okay. Whatever.
I don't think it's going to cooperate for me right now.
This is Giphy being Giphy.
Well, I think it's more like somebody's messing with my upload speed in the house, probably working on a game in the other room. But she'll kick my ass if I go over there and try to stop her. So I know that's what's going on. I guarantee it's what's happening right now. But that's okay. We'll get the links over in chat and stuff for you guys, and you guys can check it out because I do have it there. Boom. So check that out, and I'll get it up here later in the show so we can check it out though. But Eric, why don't you tell us what you've been up to this week? What's been going on? Anything special? And
I've been playing. I played a lot of Mafia 2.
Okay.
First, I beat Deus Ex Mankind Divided on the hard setting, and then went to go back and play it on the super hard with New Game Plus, and it was so stupidly easy that I got bored with it because with New Game Plus you're a freaking god. So I haven't gone back to that. But then I started playing Mafia 2 again because Mafia 3 is coming out in about 2 weeks now, and I'm super excited about that game. For those of you that have never played them, the Mafia series is some of the best story-driven games ever made, and they have a little bit, they're kind of a cross between a really good story adventure game and Grand Theft Auto. So they're great to play. They don't have that much replay value because there's no real variation in it. Although the new one looks like they're going for more of a replay value. It's got a lot more side missions and things like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about that game. We were talking about that before, I think, when we were watching E3 and stuff, because they really, I think in Mafia 2, and I've seen Geekdoma and several other people, streamers playing Mafia 2, kind of getting hyped for it and stuff, as well as you and everybody else. And the one thing that reminds me from Mafia 2 gameplay was the sandbox was there, but it just wasn't... It wasn't fleshed out. It had some problems and stuff, and they really focused in on it. With Mafia 3, they've talked about it a lot, so I'm really excited about that game. I think it's
and the size of the game, the map of Mafia 3 dwarfs Grand Theft Auto 5, from what I understand, in comparison and pure size. And in each one of those areas, there are dozens of things to do in each one of these 10 different wards or whatever they call them down there in New Bordeaux, their version of New Orleans.
Yeah. But
it's also the story looks amazing. The music is going to be out of this world because Mafia, that's the other great thing about the Mafia series, is they pick period-specific music. And this is music from late 60s and early 70s, Vietnam War protest music, and Southern rock, Skinner, CCR. Yep. And as well as jazz. Oh, yeah, it's going to be great music.
Super awesome.
And, of course, the cars. The muscle cars of the late 60s and early 70s. All torque, no steering.
The best part about the whole thing, though, is that because they're both owned by Take-Two, Mafia is owned by Take-Two, and Rockstar is also owned by Take-Two, there's some rumors that Mafia 3 is going to have connections with the next Red Dead game.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Because they have New Bordeaux in the next... There's a map with New Bordeaux in the new Red Dead, so...
That's interesting. I wonder if there'll be any Easter eggs in Mafia 3. Because it's like a time period, where you can see some stuff from there. That could be kind of cool. So we'll have to see that. All right, I think I got that Giphy thing working down here. I had to go to the third computer that's on a separate internet, and we can see it there in the background. So you can see where Paul's had some great fun as a large lizard coming through the window and eating the plants. It's amazing. It's like, look at this. That's so good, dude. I love trolling on their stuff whenever we watch video replays and stuff, but that's the next level. I like it. It's good.
Yeah, the other the one, there's a couple of them where I literally would live I would edit myself so that I'd turn the camera off and then I would come back and I'd turn it on right as I would stick my head sideways through the windows and just be like. And I'd be stroking Tyler's head while he's speaking. And be like,
I think the ones that everybody gives me the most crap about right now are the interview with the Italian division of the Star Citizen community that sit there and they had the guy holding the phone for Chris Roberts. You guys probably seen some of those stuff post game com. And I'd sit there during the whole interview and I held my phone up, or I'd be doing something like that in the shot the entire time recording. It's like, American muscle versus Italian muscle. We're holding the phone the whole time. Doesn't take two hands. We're good. All that stuff. So we like to have fun with it and kind of make it our own. And anything that's got Chris or the guys talking about stuff it's really cool to kind of play on and ham on a little bit. So, all right, Moon, what have you had going on this week, brother? Tell us about it. Tell us what's been happening with you.
What happened this week? We had episode 3 of the Moon-based podcast. That's right, my podcast. That's on Mondays or every other Monday. That was a Monday. That was a lot of fun. Wednesday, I met up with Montoya and Sung and Crake and Supreme Tokyo and Drunk Pack, and we got wasted in Manhattan.
Nice.
And we spent far too much money on booze and burgers, and it was really good. Everything else is just we stream every day, but this was like a really good weekend, good week. And meeting those guys, it was nice to finally put, I guess, I already know what they look like, but it was good to see faces.
Real faces instead of digital ones, I guess, right?
And the pictures that came out of it were great because in every one, Montoya, who's the founder of Test and our glorious leader, looks so disappointed. like, these are my subjects. These are my people.
That's how he came into the place. He was like, here I am Montoya. Look how glorious I am. It was like, oh, my God.
And everybody there's like, who the fuck is Montoya?
It's like, my testes! It's like, oh, man. Yeah, it was really good. It was nice to meet those guys. Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, so this week we saw a couple things pop up that were pretty interesting. They went through a lot of sound stuff. So we saw a lot of sound stuff this week, which I inherently wasn't super hyped about when I found out that's what they were going to do, and it was more interesting than I thought it would. I heard it, and it was amazeballs in your ears of just
what about that dynamic music system? It finally
is impressive. The dynamic music is really cool. The tech
when that comes out, I can see myself no longer playing background music when I stream Star Citizen. I can see myself actually playing Star Citizen music. One of the reasons I don't do it right now is because the music just cuts out sometimes, or it's completely inappropriate to the scenario. You're just flying around exploring Kovalix and it's playing the dogfighting music for God knows what reason. It's like, I'm sitting here EVAing in Kovalix looking at this beautiful vista, and you're hearing dun 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 dun. It's like, no, it's not a dun 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 dun.
No. Well, and also you can tell Chris Roberts is proud of that too, because the first thing he says, like when they cut away, he goes, "Yeah, I made that Wing Commander." It's just an iteration. Like, I was
going to say that. It's like he likes to brag about how he did this first.
Yeah.
It's like,
Keep
this
going.
is just the
We got
latest
this in the
generation
next 5
of my
minutes.
masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
Excellent, people. Excellent.
No, I can't wait to explore around with that and see how much more they do with it. And just some of the music in general was just beautiful. Pedro's scores.
Well, the other extra benefit to that is you won't get muted on YouTube, right? Because it's inherently music in the game. You're streaming the game. So there's more positives to it than anything. So I know you don't care, but I like to push out clips and stuff to YouTube and stuff to show different aspects of the game. So it's nice for us.
I mean,
because we don't have to worry about it.
You won't get muted. That's because any patent or any copyright troll on YouTube can claim they own that music, and you have to prove they don't. They don't have to prove they own it. That's the problem with the system. Yeah. So you can still get muted. Some jackass can go on there and say, "I own this music," mute it, or pay me revenue for every time he plays this video, or else. And then you have to prove that they don't own those rights. They don't have to prove they do. That's the way the system works.
Unfortunately, that is true. Unfortunately. Thank you for the donation, by the way, Morales. We are pushing, if you see this red bar over here on the side of Moon going down towards Astropub, we are pushing because Val has offered the presenters. We put all the sexy presenters on that side, and we tried to keep most of the other gingers on this side, so that way it wasn't a problem. We know you're more likely to donate with Moon and Pub over there. Anyway, so if we fill that bar all the way during tonight's broadcast, not just Space Bro Show, my after show, Val has offered to release a Super Hornet for a giveaway tonight, but we have to do it this evening's stream, so I won't be going to bed till that happens. And so that
there is a caveat: you do have to chase that Super Hornet down, lasso it, and then tie it up like Bronco style. That's the only way.
And you got to mount it and ride it like what was in that movie? What was that Stephen King movie where the guy was riding the nuclear bomb?
Oh no, that was Stanley Kubrick, and that was Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb.
There you go.
Yes. With
Did you
five
guys-
different Peter Sellers in one movie.
Did you guys know you guys can write on top of the Starfarer?
I watched your stream
is
do
that
that
what you were
tonight, and
doing?
I didn't know that. I was watching you do
It's
that.
it's
Moon.
freaking amazing.
I know.
Writing on top of the Starfarer is so awesome. I love it. If you haven't
Just
done
a
it,
little
look for like
more.
the hill that goes up to the turret, and you can stand on top of it. We had like a whole crew last night standing up
Yeah.
on top of there.
That's amazeballs.
Go do
Yeah.
it, man.
Yeah.
Crake, I was watching Crake's stream last night. He's like, I'm not sure what exactly Moonshiners was doing, but I hopped on top of Starfarer with him, so I hope it wasn't something really stupid that I'm going to
Hope it
regret
wasn't
later.
bad. Just like
Yeah.
something I get banned for. Xanadus, thank you so
Yeah.
much for the donation, man. We guys are really, really close on that. So it's pretty awesome. But yeah, the dynamic music's amazing. The only caveat I have to say to that is like I'll love it single player and I'll love it when I'm doing something like that, but PvP, I always mute music and I'm gonna hate to. This is probably the first time I'm gonna hate muting music because the fidelity of the sound in Star Citizen's already so good. You can hear when people walking up on you and stuff. in
Oh,
the station.
you mean
So
when
it's
you're
like-
doing like
Mhm.
first-person shooter PvP?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
let's do it then.
it also makes a little bit more sense to mute it because if you're gonna
Yeah.
like clip it and put it onto YouTube, you're gonna want to. Sometimes you might want to have like your own score in
Yeah.
the background.
But the
that
other
fits
thing
the
is to play
mood,
on it.
you know?
It might actually help you if in FPS if you can't hear them. Say you're on regular ground because if they start shooting at you and you don't notice, the music hypes up even in FPS. So you have to balance
I think that'll actually probably that whenever I'm playing a single player game and I'm
Yeah.
like I walk around and I hear boom, boom, boom,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
the combat music cut kid. I'm like, where the fuck is this guy?
Yeah,
Where is he?
exactly. I'll be
You know?
like, all right, I didn't hear anything, but his stealth-like maneuvers didn't work because I hear the
Like,
music playing.
That was what Skyrim, the music in Skyrim always did. You'd be walking around, suddenly you'd hear the combat music. You're like, all right, where is he?
Yeah,
He's supposed to-
so, but yeah,
you
every
haven't seen
single
him. He's
player
not showing
game's
up on
like
your
that.
radar,
Yeah,
but he's somewhere. Damn it, he's somewhere. And then, of course, it turns out that it's a freaking mud crab that's all the way on the other side of the
Yeah.
map that has somehow aggroed you.
absolutely.
It's still chasing it.
Yeah, but
You can't do this with enemies nearby. There's nothing fucking nearby. I nuked everything.
Absolutely. Well, in addition to the sound, the dynamic sound, we heard also some of the sound effects that went into for just like the explosions and the break apart ships with debris and different stuff like that. While I said like I didn't find it overly over the top interesting as much, but I appreciate the amount of detail they're going into to make all this high fidelity stuff to make it real immersive. And I found it real amusing that the guy kept blowing stuff up and he just kept yelling at everybody like he didn't have volume control on it. It's like trying to boosh, yeah. It's like, and then we got to do the thing. I'm like, all right, there's.
That's because they were recording. The one mistake they made on this is they were just using probably a vocal mic, like a boom mic,
Absolutely.
and they were just recording the audio from his wall of sound that he had going on there instead of like doing a main line out. So that's why he was yelling, and that's I think also why the audio sounds a little off. I was actually amazed at how many people had a negative reaction to that. Like that sounds horrible. It's unrealistic. It's too tinny.
I think when we're fighting and stuff and all the other sounds are going, you hear the engines, the ambient, and you got the lasers, you don't notice as much, but it raw by itself sounds like somebody's throwing nails to my car, and I just have a really bad
But there's
affinity
also-
to like that. And I
if
think
they
that's
were
what it
using
was.
a vocal mic and they were recording room sound, it's going to sound tinny. That's just the way it's going to come out because that mic is tuned to voices, a different range of audio,
Yeah.
different style of audio. You know, the bass is going to overload it and the treble is going to come out way too sharp, and that's just the way it works.
Yeah,
That's what it sounds like they were doing.
I think just
And-
with all the other, with the lack of the other ambient noise, because you're not going to have that experience unless you have other noise there. I think that's what overlaid it more than anything. Because
Yeah.
that's my personal opinion anyway. So, and
But I
that's
love
what I'm
the
talking about.
audio of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the to be able to recreate, Battlestar Galactica with like, what do you hear, Starbuck?
Nothing but the rain.
Nothing but the rain, kind of like,
Yeah.
because that's what it sounded like to me when it was like
That's-
those
that's what he was
explosions
going
going
for.
around. Yeah.
Mhm.
So.
I do
Yeah.
like the little tidbit that I think most people missed on it. The type of reverb he applied there was from a Sikorsky helicopter.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he
I missed
says,
that totally. I didn't hear that. Yeah, but I do appreciate his setup. I want the 4 screens with the 40-inch TV above it. That would be really nice. Type
And
of
then the
setup.
speakers in between each screen for the surround sound.
Yep,
So he's actually staring at them. Yeah.
it's good. And he's probably has to play it loud too, because he's probably about tone deaf. I would be if I was a sound guy.
Yeah, sound guys tend to go deaf.
Yeah, it's like what? I
the-
didn't hear that.
of all the jobs you should be wearing hearing protection that you don't, sound guy is one of the top of them right there.
Yeah, the other interesting aspect I saw on ATV that I didn't think I'd find as interesting, that I really did, and maybe it's because the project manager in me, was the DevOps stuff. I was really interested in like a lot of things.
Specifically that redhead's haircut, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, I could rock that though. I mean, I just got to grow it out a bit and like flip it over, and it'd be amazeballs. But no, it was really cool. And I think some of the DevOps team. I can't remember this gentleman's name there, but the manager of the DevOps team. He is like the unsung hero that makes sure the stuff is pushed out. And the best thing I heard in the whole thing about that popped in my ears immediately was 90% reduction on the patches, on the size of the patches, pushing them out. I mean, that's what they're going with. That's amazing, because I have a whole core element of friends that can't play the game because they have limited data that they can push out. So they'll play in the beginning of the month, and by mid-month, they can't download anymore because they're capping out because they're on hotspots and stuff. 90% reduction would be amazing.
The one thing that he kept emphasizing, which I liked when he was talking in ATV, was like, he was like, we screwed up. We've tried this before and it has not been working right. We need to go back and fix it and make it right. So like it was the first time I've ever heard CIG just be like, listen, my bad. We're gonna try to make this right now. Yeah. And it seemed more genuine. It was a little like a genuine, like, we're going to fix this now. We want this Delta patching now. And I know, to a degree, all of us, everyone, including CIG, is like, yeah, we wanted Delta patching because we don't want to download more stuff. And at the same time, CIG doesn't want to spend money on us. That's a lot of money for us.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of bandwidth.
And then if you think about all the PTUs we've been through this year alone, right? Like all the PTU builds, rather than maybe not.
It's not even counting the Evocati PTUs, which
exactly
could be high.
But as you grow that subsection, and then they started this whole like, we're releasing this to all subscribers, right? And all this other stuff, and then everybody. Imagine the amount of data they're pushing out, because it's an incredible amount of data they're pushing out from there.
They released all that information.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they released all that information in the last month's monthly report, and it's insane, the numbers that of what was uploaded, how many downloads, and just an insane amount of data.
Yeah. Just going in between of the user base that's been pulling that data. That's the thing.
Yeah, that's what's crazy, because a lot of people aren't Evocati for sure. A lot of people aren't participating in PTU, even if they have access, and even when they open up wide subscribers, I imagine, and I don't know what the numbers are probably a small fraction of the greater community. I mean, even if it was a large section of it, I'd say maybe 25% of the active community subscribes, maybe more. I don't know. I'm sure it adds up, but if you push something like 5 builds, where we saw wasn't it like 4 or 5 builds in 2.3 or something this year? It was insane. There was like all these builds during the PTU process. So it's just incredible.
To give you an idea, if every Evocati member downloads just one build, and it's a full-size build, that's 17 terabytes of data right there. One build. And most patches during Evocati time frame, I can say this from experience, are full patches. They are not like a 5 gig update. It's a brand new, and we go through several a day sometimes. And so,
And on top of that, you got to remember that they're using the same servers to pass information back and forth between each of the different studios. So you're also dealing with, like, every QA member has to do the same thing every day. They have a new build they have to put in. So not only can you imagine the cost for just distributing it to the backers, but also their internal costs for trying to just inner management. That's got to be absolutely bonkers. So anything they can do to reduce the size of those patches internally and externally is probably what they're sharing.
There's nobody that loses out on patch reduction size. Nobody. I mean, everybody, from us, the end user, to them internally, everybody's a winner, and that'll be less costly on everybody's head. So that's pretty exciting.
Tonight, everybody's a winner.
Everyone's a winner. Here's another question. Does Chris Roberts own any other color than black shirts? I mean, I get it. I know, Chris. I know what we're doing here. I know. They're very slimming, Chris. I get that. They're very slimming. I get it. They're slimming. I'm gonna.
He likes
doing
his
this for the
long
rest of
teed black shirts.
Can I do this for the
I
rest of the
will say
episode the whole time?
As someone,
You know what?
As someone who's worked in theater, black is really easy to light. That's all I gotta say. It's really easy
actually,
to light.
if you Google his name on Google image search, almost everyone he's wearing a black shirt. Every single one.
Yeah.
Or he's
far.
wearing a black shirt with a black
Blazer or something. Yeah.
Yes.
or something like that.
Yes. I bet his closet's
Yeah,
like it's all uniform all down there. It's like, this is the long sleeve black shirts, and these are the short sleeve black shirts. Because the one time
It's working for me right now.
Yeah.
You guys don't even see me in the background. It's great.
Yeah, you're just a floating advertisement there. It's perfect.
In arms.
Max says he doesn't.
The
have
only
the
time
move
you'll see
slider
Chris
with-
Roberts in a
Yeah.
different color shirt, and I find it really amusing, is if you look on the marketplace and you look to buy the gray Aretic, like the gray
He
Star
looks so
Citizen.
uncomfortable.
He looks
in
so
that.
uncomfortable, like, yeah, I'm a model, and this is a really comfortable shirt.
Like-
He's like, can we get rid of these fucking things already? Because I do not want one of these. It's like, yeah.
Mod Max's comment. He doesn't have the move slider in yet, so yeah, he only wears black.
It's like the reduce. No,
I was going to say he was actually his inspiration for coming into gaming apparently was Johnny Cash, so that makes sense, So the Man in Black, all black, nothing but black, and space is black, so
Yeah, absolutely.
why wear anything else?
Let's do
Apparently.
a quick check on this. I think they just destroyed it, guys. You guys accomplished the goal there. Look, I knew pitting the bar in their sexy time over there. Look at that. So after this stream and the after show, we will be doing a Super Hornet raffle. So you guys better stick around for that. So it will be late night, but that's okay. It's the weekend. Enjoy. So back to this, more sexiness. Speaking of what Eric's putting out there,
That was an Italian meatball
try not to
sub
blow that
there.
right on Moonshiners. He might puke on Berserker over there if you do that. It would be like a chain reaction going that away. So the next sexiness.
I've got a helmet on. It's okay.
I was like, you're splatterproof, brother. You're ready. It's like, all you need is that cellophane, like that racing ripoff thing they put on the NASCARs where they just pull off the windshield. You'd be perfect. Was the Herald? I mean, I've been waiting for this forever.
My God,
It looks so
this
fucking
looks so good.
It does. It looks sexy time.
What?
Notice that it has the very similar color scheme to the Ghost. I'm wondering if that means they want to apply a similar type of stealth armor to it.
What's also Drake? I mean, like I said this before, but like the Caterpillar and the Herald are the new vanguards of Drake, and we had Aegis, earlier this year, where everything Aegis everything because they had the palette. Now we're starting to see just Drake everything.
Well, I think that's
kind
kind of how they're going too, right? They're going through and they're coming through that stuff because if you caught it today in RTV when they were talking to Kuntz, they said that since he's done with this, he's starting to work on the Cutlass now.
Yep.
So he's going to get his hands on that, and if he can make the Cutlass look as sexy as this motherfucker, oh my God, I'm gonna be so excited.
Here's the thing about the Drake look that irks me. Is that it looks more military than any of the other current manufacturers in game right now.
It looks. The thing is it looks industrial military. It looks like the kind of thing you'd see at a construction site.
Lowest bidder. It looks lowest bidder, which is what military is. It's always the lowest bidder.
Yeah. But I will say I do like how he put some angles and made it look aggressive, but it still has this nice smooth rollover polish to it all the way around. It's like we got to make it look industrial, so you put like real light yellow tags on this, not like yellowed it out heavily, but still made it look badass.
I just want to point out black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
That's right. I don't think it's a coincidence that the Dragonfly was black and yellow, the Herald's black and yellow. I mean, it's obvious the organization that CIG prefers the most.
Test bias.
Oops.
That's right. That's a test bias that everybody's heard about.
Test bias, best bias.
I will say I also like, because since they're trying to move the HUDs down, this whole thing, and I know that I think Xylo put out something not too long ago saying that they're still working on the HUDs, right? Because people were freaking out that some of your HUDs are up and some are down these tiny little screens, and they're going to be working on the screens and all that. So don't freak out, guys. They're kind of working through that. You can see in the design they're forethinking on that, right? So this is a lot more
much
visible.
Bigger MFDs.
Yeah, you can see it a lot better, and it's still not occluding your vision because you have this beautiful canopy that you're inside. And even though they kept that rigid, boxy Drake look, it's very open, and I like that about this. It looks really cool.
But the most important thing,
the old Hornet cockpits. Actually, if you remember the old Hornet,
Yeah, if you moved it, you feel more into it on this than you do in the Hornet, where they like pulled it back now, where you have more bar in your face. But yeah, I like this a lot.
But the most important thing is they have the 2D radar, not that crappy fucking 3D holo radar that doesn't tell you jack shit. That's the most important thing. I hate that holo radar.
Well, in the inside of this, I mean, look at the sexiness.
You could run a pirate radio station. It looks like
that's exactly what I was thinking, like pirate radio or
like it's a hacker. Like that looks like a bunch of fucking servers.
And I was
gonna
wait till the video's done, but I have a problem now because this is the thing. Because I own this ship, okay, and I bought this ship, and I bought it because I wanted to hack stuff. And then they said that there were, and Ben said on Nikki D'Angelo's show that they're going to put out a brochure for this when it comes out, but it's going to be a courier, and we're debating in my channel about the language he used in that, because we don't know if it's not going to be a hacker right now because it's, they don't have the hacking type stuff coming in the forefront, or if they're changing the role of the ship to only be a courier. And if they do that, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Because I bought this to be a hacking ship, to like data mine stuff and then steal the information and run away with it. That's why it has huge server banks. It's not a fucking large USB drive just to pull stuff. This better still be a hacker. And if CIG, if you're listening to me, you better make this a hacking ship or I'm going to pitch a fit because I want to hack stuff with it. You don't have to do it right now. Just do not change the role. Don't terrapin my ass.
He will write a very, very angry concern thread.
I will.
The angriest of the concern threads.
Yeah, I'll even put like asterisks and stuff around the concern or something. It's
hey,
like,
I wonder if it comes with a size 5 gun too.
Yeah.
Oh God, he'll spend 2 paragraphs on how much he loves the game, but
2 paragraphs intro, so you don't downvote me right off the bat. You gotta have a 2-paragraph intro about, let me validate who I am. Not only do I stream Star Citizen primarily, but I've been a backer and I've spent money and all this. Now I can tell you my complaint. No.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Are you offering an opinion? Downvote.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what?
Wait, you're a content creator?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Downvote. Oh, they love that too. It's like, oh, you're trying to pirate off
Baron's
this game.
Tweet this evening, Paul? You probably saw Baron's tweet.
Yeah.
It's like that feeling you get when you spend 2 days creating something to have it immediately downvoted on Reddit.
Exactly.
You put up a video on Reddit, it was immediately downvoted to negative. Like
I like
it's
Chris's
so fast,
idea.
There's no way they could have watched it. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just bad news, Baron, downvote.
I think that's why the 2-paragraph metric holds weight, because you feel like maybe if the reader's 2 paragraphs in, by the time you justify yourself, maybe they're invested enough to like, fuck it, I'll just read the rest of it. Because I'm already 2 in.
It's also,
it's
also
not like
a Reddit thing, because you don't get karma if you do a self-post. And so they're more likely to not downvote. You do now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, at least it used to be the thing where if you did a self-post, you made you look like you're some fucking Saint Paul Shelley bringing the his announcement about some random clip I got in a fucking live stream that I thought it was cool. Oh, but I didn't put a link in there, so I don't get precious internet points. Okay, that's cool. You're obviously selfless. That's the other thing, is that they're obsessed with karma.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Game Fleek, I just want to recognize Game Fleek there, guys. We linked him up. He's doing a Game Fleek raid over to us. Thank you so much, brother. Make sure you guys toss him a follow too, guys, because he's pretty awesome. I love watching him. He's got one of the most chill streams there is, and I just like going there at night and just chilling out and watching him. Unfortunately, we almost stream at the same time, even though I haven't gotten him on Space Bros yet. Hint, hint. But I definitely want to get him over here sometime and stuff, but we kind of stream close to the same time frame, so I don't get to watch him as much as I'd like. But anyway, back to the glorious sexiness, but I'm saying hacking is a must. I will be so disappointed if this doesn't hack still. I'll just feel like that. But one thing Chris did say earlier before I went off on the tangent was when I mentioned about it just being a glorified USB drive, he said it would be perfect. You just plug it right into an Idris, and it'd be a USB drive like a download stick. So you just make a hole in there and just go. I was like, that's true, you could. But look at the amount of detail. I mean, I have to appreciate him. People were ripping on him. I saw the ATV chat. They were ripping on. I think his name's Josh Kuntz, I believe, the man who designed this or went in and he did the final build on it for his just alternative look. But the man's an artistic genius. I love this. It looks so good. Say whatever you want about the man. I think he's an asset to CIG.
It looks military. It looks absolutely military to me. That's what any comm truck or a command and control truck looked like on the inside, or that's what your talk looked like. Wires everywhere. Nothing was boxing.
I was going to say that this has a lot better cable management than any comm truck I've ever seen.
Yeah,
but,
better than my PC. Yeah.
When I first started going into networking stuff, and I was a tech, I remember some wire closets that we literally lost techs in. They went in and just ate them when the wires fell out. So I can attest to this is a very nice wire job.
But I hate cable management.
Oh yeah, but that's a hell of a gun rack, right? Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I mean, for like a 1 or 2 person ship, that's pretty impressive. The old 5 rifles.
They're just expecting every pilot and co-pilot of this thing to be Jane. That's what they're expecting.
They want you all to have the P4AR, the ballistic, and the shotgun. So that way you can go ballistic, laser rifle, or shotgun on every ship. That'd be amazing.
And honestly, I could actually see that being a useful thing for this ship because the ship is designed to carry sensitive information. And if you look at even like couriers like Brinks, trucks, or like the I can't even think of the name of them off the top of my head because I'm so tired. But the armored cars that go from like banks to banks to pick up the deposit it to wherever they need to go.
The group sex trucks from Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, but they they've got like 5 different weapons in their cab. It's like pistols, shotguns, assault rifles, submachine guns. It looks like a freaking armory in their cabins because it's like we're really trying to protect this information. So if we run out of ammo, we have more. Kind of.
So that's what I would imagine if it gets boarded. What you end up seeing is the pilot just turns around, grabs the top gun, fires it till it's empty, drops it, grabs the next gun, fires it till that's all he's going to do is just stand there and keep shooting until he's completely out of ammunition.
Yeah, I'd also like to illustrate down here on the Autumn. They showed this in the beginning of the video too. All the countermeasures that this thing has. They just said in the description, this has lots and lots of countermeasures.
Yeah.
I expect to sit down in this thing and see like 100 of this and 100 of that. It's supposed to be.
Those are databanks. They were databanks.
Those are databanks, but they talked about. Oh, maybe it's in here in the pod because this doesn't have a gun anymore on it, does it?
Mitbot just went full crazy on Tommy Treen and timed him out for saying CIG has some pretty fun mini games.
You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Mitbot's like, Toy's like, I swear I didn't do it. It's like Toy's adopted. You can't say Xanax just timed himself out. For some reason, there is a NIGA troll in here that was trying to say something bad. So anything that does shenanigans, it automatically auto blocks now. So it's like, nope, you're not gonna say any of those type of words.
Oh, so mini games because it's got NIGA in it.
Yeah. So sorry. Sorry about that. But yeah, it has a lot of. I don't know where the countermeasures are, but it has a lot of them. I imagine it's a crazy amount. The original one was supposed to have a size 1 gun or something, but I love the fact that I see no weapon on this. I want a truly non-combat. This ship is not meant to shoot anything. It's meant to get the fuck away.
If you look behind the cockpit, though, that looks like a weapon mount right there, directly behind the cockpit.
It could be.
Sticking out that looks like
it could be a utility mount as well, like something like a tractor beam or something.
I'm just tired of throw a gun on everything. The same way that we get some of the stuff like the Argo. It's like, well, the Argo's good, but it doesn't have this or that and all. I love the fact these pure utility ships or these evasive specialty ships and stuff like that. You want those to flesh out your universe. Everything's not meant to be a fighter. So. Oh yeah, that's a weapon mount on the bottom too, right there. Now that I'm looking at it. There's 3 weapon mounts, 2 up by the top of the cockpit and 1 on the nose.
I can't wait to see these things in action just because someone's I'm imagining the first time I'm going to see like someone flying this thing, there's be some pirates trying to go after it, and it's immediately going to kick into its cruise mode, and it's just going to be gone. It's just there, and then
really,
it's there.
It's not that fast when they showed it. It's acceleration.
It's the fastest cruise mode in the game right now.
No, it's not as fast as a 350R.
There's been debate about that because CIG Sherman, Matt Sherman's been in several chats, and he said that it has the same top end as the M50, but there's been debate on whether it accelerates faster than the M50. You know, so it's like, I don't know what the final product is that we'll get, but we know it won't be the final product. So we'll see what happens. It's not as good when it comes to pure speed and longevity. Well, I don't know about longevity in terms of quantum travel, but longevity in this thing should fly farther, boost faster than anything else out there in a straight line. It should.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whether it will when we get it, maybe not, but it should, and it should accelerate faster because they describe it as a freaking funny car. It should go like, take half a second.
It's a rocket strapped to a cab. That's all it is. It's just, let's take a size 5 engine and throw a fighter cockpit on the damn thing. You know,
it's crazy. It's like, oh, sorry, Idris, we need to borrow one of your motors. It's like, and then we'll just wrap
Flying Gecko, though, we're not referencing what was shown in the video. We're referencing what Matt Sherman actually said.
Yeah,
the guy who was just on there with the long hair talking about designing it. Yeah. But as of right now, the 350R is still a faster ship overall in normal flight modes than the Herald. Now, what we don't know, and we just learned that this is going to be a thing for sure, is that quantum travel will now be different speeds depending on your ship, your engine, the power to that engine, all sorts of things. Yep. It's not just a flat 0.2C. Some ships will do it slower, and some will do it faster. I'm assuming 0.2C is the maximum.
And Morales is right. CIG said, and Source's stream, that the speeds in the game are not the final speeds. And you're right, but Source is also the one who came over and said, CIG said, this one goes the same speed as the M50 because Matt Sherman said so. So, it's both rules. Right now, this is what it's going to be. These aren't the final speeds of the future, but you would think, if their thought process is they want to make a top end the same, I have no problem with that. I think that's fine, but I think it should go 0 to 950 in like a second.
That would kill you.
It should. I think if you floor it out, it should almost like whip you into blackout. Going straight ahead.
Instant blackout,
drag
racer.
whip
you into blackout.
Like Omega style whip you into blackout.
Like
you turn the thing
on.
You
go like that.
Exactly.
The engine
down the.
I think you have to choose to make it go. You know what I mean? Like your acceleration. If you decide to go double tap, boom, then you might black out. I think that's purely legitimate. It doesn't mean you die. It just means you better point in the right direction, right? Because if you choose the wrong direction and black out, you're going to just wake up inside a wall.
You turn on the engine. You turn on the engine, turn on the engine, then wake up a couple seconds later. Okay, now I got to start
if you're trying to
down the engine.
I don't care if I black out.
I just turned on the thing and I'm blacked out.
If I have pirates descending upon me and I'm surrounded, I want to fucking turbo boost that shit, Knight Rider jump that shit out, and I'll wake up in a minute. It's okay. I don't give a fuck.
To be clear, for those of you that aren't very good on the conversions, 950 meters per second is 2,125 miles per hour.
Yep. In real life, it'd turn you to jelly in your seat in a second. Like, it's like
according to the calculator, I just ran it through. That's 97 G's if you did that in 1 second.
Dude, I just hit the.
That would turn you into paste.
Yeah, I took the potatoes in the front seat, and I'd have mashed potatoes. I'd be done. It's like, oh look, it's all made. It's great.
It'd be the finest mashed potatoes if you send them through like that.
Man, these are mighty creamy, Mitauchi.
10 seconds. 10 seconds is more like what would be a survivable acceleration rate. That puts you at 10 Gs.
Yeah. I don't know. No matter what it is, it should be the fastest acceleration in the game when it's done.
I agree. It's a ship. It's a GTFO ship. It's a ship that the second it's in danger.
No turning on it.
It turns on its fuck you speed and gets out.
Exactly. I think if you're going top end speed though and you try to turn it, it should just disintegrate in a million pieces. Like it just literally would explode. It's like, oh, turn to 950, whoosh. It's like, oh, we have to slow down first. It's too crazy. So, but yeah, they show in here the destruction on it and stuff and how they've thought that out. And I'm pretty impressed with it. They said there's still areas that, don't quite map the way they want, like the area they show there. But
that's what I was laughing when he first was talking about. He's like, and now, as you can see, we have the shader on it, and he shoots, and nothing's happened where he's shooting.
Exactly.
To another location.
It's good.
I really loved the explanation of how they make the damage states, though. Because that's
with the slider and all that too, and the devastating slider, that's pretty cool.
And how they put in little triggers that say this should just break off, this should explode off, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like little boxes that have the explosions on them to help. Right.
Can I put a little little shout out to Xylo?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
ever since Xylo's been in charge of the these weekly reports, because I remember getting these emails like from back in 2013 when they were giving us like weekly summary emails like as a newsletter, and they were just kind of like, hey, here's all of the news dump we had for this week. Thank you. It was obviously like culled by like a computer, or there's like one person who was just like copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. I'm done. Like ever since he's gotten in, it seems like he's been in charge, or they have a team together doing it. Every week seems to be like Xylo just like, hey, check this cool thing out that I put in there that I did for you. Yep. You know, kind of thing. So I like it. It's the like this week was amazing, and like the Ursa rover was what they talked about right before the event at Gamescom. It's pretty cool stuff, man.
Yep. Xylo, you're number one in our books.
Number one.
He's good. No, I love Xylo. Still haven't been on Space Pro show yet, though.
This is Xylo after he's had some sleep. I made a comment on that when I was watching on stream.
Xylo sleeps?
I was like, look, you can tell Xylo actually got some rest on this one. And right then, Xylo popped in my chat, and he's like, yes, this is what rested Xylo looks like. You won't see him that often. And then he popped out of the chat. Like,
he looks just like any other one of his gamers, only he's actually doing the hard work, right? Because he's usually all tired and everything like that. But it's like last time he came on the Space Pro show was that impromptu, and he just happened to be up. We're getting ready to go off air after our epic 4.5 hour episode, and we're like, all right, we're gonna go. And then Xylo's like, hey, I'll come on, and I'm like, okay, another hour, let's go. It's like we were up forever, but it was a blast. You know,
the best part is as you were setting it up, you're like, I was kind of hoping he was joking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I want him on here, but I was like, God, it's like 4 in the morning. It's like, yeah. But yeah, it's fun, and I love having Xylo on, and you can tell he's just a gamer, and he's just excited like all of us about this, and it's just he has to do a lot more work on top of being excited like all of us, so it's really good. But the rest
I'll be right back,
ATV,
guys.
Go ahead. This is where they were talking about the music stuff that we talked about in the beginning, how it like escalates and it matches the environment and whatnot. It's really cool stuff. I was pretty impressed with it. At first I was kind of like anything sound related or ever. Me being a graphical and FPS nerd, mostly I'm usually like, But as I watch the way they present it and watch the amount of effort and detail and how all the little idiosyncrasies they put into it and stuff, it's just like, it's very impressive. And then you get to see all the data dump of how they do it.
Yeah, how it escalates by, you take down like a ship's shields, that changes the tone. You take down one pirate, so it changes again. And it's very cool how they're doing that. Just how it procedurally changes. I'm so excited for the music, man.
And that's the thing is that sound is also a great way of being able to tell, because sometimes you're going to be so focused on combat that you won't know what's going around you. And so when that sound changes, you're going to be like, oh, that's the cue that something's going wrong. Something else, I can figure out what it is. And so really good players who've got a lot of experience in the game will use the sound cues as much as they'll use their own experience or their own what they can see and about their ships and statuses.
Absolutely.
And such. So.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the thing I was impressed the most with and what grabbed me into this portion of it, even though we talked about it before, was where he was just standing on the launch pad and he just stepped off. And just to hear that ambient sound, just right there, they got me. It was like, and you felt like you're in like the old 2001 Space Odyssey. It's like, whoa.
The way the music just swelled into this,
I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like, it just added so much more to it than just hearing like we do normally when you get off, you just hear your
space wind,
I'm like, I don't know if I'm traveling somewhere, if there's a leak in my suit. I'm like checking out like, oh God. Because once they add oxygen, I'm going to be panicking with that. But I mean, it was so amazing. So amazing just to see that. I'm just like...
It was more impressive in this small demo than I've seen even single-player campaigns pull off with that are like AAA titles that have spent years working on this kind of sound design. Yeah. Like they are really they give a shit. Like that's the one thing that comes across like that is that they've sat down and said, we want to make this stupid amazing, and that people won't even realize that it's there. And then when they do realize it, they'll just sit there and like marvel at the fact that
I think we can all agree though that the best sound that came out of this is ping every time you fucking kill something.
Oh, we're
Ping.
just about to get into that. Yeah, the sneak peek.
Ping.
I was really excited about it. And I still am. I'm still super hype. A matter of fact, I think there was a clip that like I did a whole little watch thing on today when somebody brought it up. And yeah, let me see if I find that real quick.
The stinger noise, the stinger like flare, the music, that's okay. It's the ping that comes along with it. That arcadey sounds like Mario just picked up a coin thing. And just imagine if you toss a grenade into a room full of people and it kills them all. It's going to sound like you got a 1-up in Mario Brothers.
Yeah. I'm sure it's a work in progress, to be honest. But
well, they've had it in Vandal Swarm forever. Right?
Oh, the like chink 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 like sound that's saying you're notifying that you're hitting something.
No.
Well, not the hit
sound when
there's,
you kill
there's
one. Like when it goes pop, it goes boom. Sounds like Mario Kart.
It made an appearance in Vandal Swarm with 2.5 and onward.
I think it makes sense in Star Marine. I don't think it makes sense in the universe. But
here's the problem with it in Star Marine though. Again, using that grenade analogy, what if there's a guy around the corner and you toss a grenade at him? You would, if it wasn't for that sound, you don't know if you've killed him.
Mm-hmm.
But you toss a grenade around the corner, you just wait for the ping. Oh, I got him. All right, I can move forward now. That eliminates the.
But it's also a video game, like in lore. So it makes sense that
it's a simulator in the lore and all that. So kill. Yeah, I'm fine with it if it doesn't make it into the main game.
Yeah.
But watching here the vision stabilization stuff, and again, I've probably watched this video 5 times a day because I'm so hype. Like you, Paul, and a lot of the other guys, we do a lot of FPS stuff just to have extra content to do. We're always there. We're hitting it. We're shooting each other. We're doing all sorts of great stuff. The smoothness of this is just like, if we could even get half of this in a multiplayer environment, I would just die happy.
I mean, I think we all like stop a moment and like grab our chests every time we get 45 FPS.
Oh yeah.
We like log in. We're just like wait. We have over 30. We're not like clutching at 30 right now, or we're not getting 15 FPS. We're actually getting something. Let's just stop for a moment and like observe how amazing this feels, or But
and if
guys,
stupid good.
Guys, I think I heard something. Did you hear something? I think I heard something. No, I definitely heard something. What was that? I heard something. I heard something. What was that? Oh, it was probably nothing. I heard something. Freaking AI in this.
That's right.
I was like, what are you talking about?
I think you're talking.
I was like,
yeah.
That's why I was doing it, because you had the thing muted in the background.
You know what?
Hang on. I'll play it.
We're gonna do something wrong.
We're gonna play it with sound. We'll play it with sound because I have to do it now. Now that you did that.
As messed up as it sounds, or as messed up as it is, I do have to say that it's nice because it means that you actually have AI. They're at the stage where AI can acknowledge this sound is unusual. Let us investigate it, even if they are just corpses on the ground.
The thing I have to say about that, I thought it was funny when they were saying, "Hey, I heard some of my favorite parts in the middle of it." Where the guy goes, let's check it out. And he's like, no, it's nothing. And the guy's like shooting everything around. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, it's back again. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I felt like I was at Korea fighting everybody, and when you fight somebody who's invisible on accident, it's like, wait a minute, what happened? And he just gets shotgun in the face. It's like, what?
I can't wait to just like screw with the AI and in a security post, like just infiltrate a security post and just like drop hollow images down, and then be like, hey, what's that over there? Hey, what's over there? It's nothing. Let's just do this. Hey, it's back. What's it go? Just the stupid AI, especially the first iteration.
I was really impressed with the AI demonstrating the cover system in this too. Even though they weren't real good AI, they lay their leg out or they stick their head out the whole time when you're shooting at them. They don't duck back. But I mean, just seeing it at this stage was pretty impressive.
I just dropped a link in chat for you there, Mitauchi. That perfectly sums up the AI's conversation in this video.
Something about the AI really wasn't all that bad. I mean, if you saw the guy, he was bleeding out a whole lot of times, which was awesome to see the bleed out animation. Yeah. And he was taking a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So they really weren't all that bad. And you don't really want AI to be.
What was that noise?
To be really
what
good.
Was that noise?
You want him to be good, but you don't want him to be that good.
What was that?
Yeah.
I heard something.
You should have seen my facial reaction when he walked in the first shop and he shot the storekeeper. I was like, how much have I wanted to do that?
Completely unflinching, just walks in, opens the door, bam. I'm like,
yeah. I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
Like, is this like suddenly Friday the 13th the game?
I literally had people in chat going, "Oh, confirm Portals is now screwed." I'm like, it's a demo. It's just a tech demo, guys. You're not going to be going around.
You know what? Actually, what I thought about when I was watching this is I have a feeling that it's going to be a possible map on Star Marine.
Yep.
Port All-Star as a map.
Yeah,
why not use the maps they got?
Yeah. They have multiple ways of going through it, and yeah, definitely
it's already got the classic donut design basically
All
of
the
a
maps
multiplayer map.
Symmetrical multiplayer map, yeah. Or like a deathmatch map or something like that, or like.
And especially if you use all 4 struts, then you also have EVA fighting in between, and you can have basically capture the strut mode. Like capture the flag or capture the strut. And that
yeah, Full Octane's nice. Dave may notice the body set Squadron 42.
Yeah.
That looks exactly like a regular
placeholder.
player. I think the AI is smart on, where the guy runs by, doesn't notice you, and you shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
That's like.
I mean, it makes sense that they're using Squadron 42 AI because that's the first AI they're going to be developing, and I can almost be assured that the Squadron 42 AI is going to be derpy compared to the Star Citizen AI because it's less polished. It only has to do, Charles the pirate has to do like 5 things, and all those.
I'll tell you what, when I was watching this
him
part,
taking cover, then him taking a bullet to the face. That's about it.
I just kept wanting to tap H for this guy though the whole time.
I know.
Yeah.
Just tap H, you idiot. You're
telling you on
out.
the fucking screen to hit H. I mean, can you heal something?
The one thing that I saw a lot of people getting excited about was, it's not bullet spongy. Look at how quickly they die. Guys, neither are the Vandal and Vandal Swarm. Neither are the pirates in the Persistent Universe. The AI in this game has always been ridiculously easy to kill compared to regular players. So don't assume that it's not bullet spongy just because these AI are dropping like flies. Wait until we actually get to fight each other.
Well, look at the 3.0 demo where he had to dump like 4 mags into the heavy armor suit to like kill him.
They did say that in that one they deliberately cranked up the hit points because they were running into issues where they were accidentally dying before the demo was over. So they cranked up the hit points on everything, so it's harder to kill each other.
That's another thing is that we don't even know the effect of armor is going to be on players or NPCs.
Well,
We could have a situation where you're having like a mini boss or something like that, just as some dude walking up with a full set of like Titan armor, and you're just like, well, I'm not doing anything today. I'm just going to have to go the other way because I don't have anything that even could touch this guy. So, unless you have a freelancer, because apparently freelancers are the best FPS weapons.
This was the coolest part right here, though. Dumper's Depot.
Going into Dumper's Depot, I was like, oh my god! And then he shoots the clerk, and I'm like, well, I guess.
Not Dumper! No!
Yeah. But you can see all the different shield hardeners and all the different generator stuff and all that. I was like, that's pretty awesome right there. It's the fact he's going in there. And
I'm hoping it's confirmed for 2.6. I mean,
that would be so great that we could buy ship equipment with Alpha UEC.
Well, you know how lazy I am, Eric. I don't fit any of my ships because I'm so fucking lazy. I don't want to go to the website and buy shit and just to fit them. So I'm like, having that
no brain matter. I'm good.
Yeah. Might mean that Mitauchi actually fits up a actual ship in the PU once in a while.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I always get questions from fans like the newer backers who are like, or people who are like, when can I buy ships in game? And I think this would be a good indication of like, we're gonna see this in maybe 3.0.
Chris actually answered that during one of the interviews at Gamescom. They are currently working on the pricing system for ships right now because it quickly became apparent to them that using the generic pricing system they first talked about won't work because the value of a ship well, we've talked about this many times, but the value of a ship cannot be just directly correlated to the ship package price. It just can't.
It's not. And that interview where he talked about that, we play it on my channel all the time with the big fuzzy mic from the guys like out there, because it's everybody like that, and I draw a cat on it every time we watch it. But we've seen it about 20, 30 times. But
it looks like a dead rat in his hand.
He literally talks about it becoming like billions and trillions of possible UEC for the biggest ships.
Yep.
And, comparing that dynamic range. So it's going to be very expensive to get any caps.
Well, and if you look at it from a real world perspective, which people like to reference, and I mean, he's referenced it too, something like an Idris, that is a freaking destroyer, comparatively to and that's a multi-billion dollar ship nowadays for just a destroyer. So you're not going to be buying that for 1,000 times the current Idris price in UEC, because that's only 5 million UEC or something like that. That's not a ship of that caliber.
We also got to remember that the economy is also going to dynamically change. Like an Aurora in bumfuck nowhere is going to be a lot more expensive than an Aurora that's being milled off the assembly line. You can walk up to like RSI plant and be like, "Can I get this for dirt cheap?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, sure, why not? We've got thousands of them." Literally, like 1,000 just popped up off the line. Like we have no space. Take it, go fly. Kind of thing.
You guys might know this. I'm not really sure whether they've talked about the player-to-player trading system after launch when it comes down to ships. Like if I wanted to sell a ship to Moonshiners or somebody. How will that work? Is that even a possibility? Can we sell used ships to each other? And if so, then that would also have an impact on the economy, whether they want it to or not. Because if everybody has a Connie and we're all trying to upgrade and we all want something else, you'll have a huge oversupply of a certain type of ship in an area from everybody getting rid of it. And everybody trying to buy something
they're going to regulate that, though. The way that they regulate that is that if you want to sell your Connie to Moonshiners for a 1 UEC because you have to charge something, they're like, great, you're doing a 1 UEC charge, which means you're going to have to pay 15,000 UEC just to transfer the title. Then you're going to then you're going to have to transfer the insurance, and then Moonshiner's going to have to pay a brand new insurance fee because he has to set that up. And then he's going to have to fee for a transportation fee. Oh, you're going to fly it yourself? Okay, well that's a different fee. It's a lower fee, but you still have to pay that. Like they're gonna bureaucratic the crap out of it. So that
they did say something about the insurance though. At one point in time, they said that if you sold in game a ship with LTI, the LTI stays with that ship. So the guy who buys it would get LTI. Now I don't think they're going to keep that though, because that just opens it up to abuse later on. Selling back and forth between people just to transfer LTI back and forth as needed for operations or whatever. But that's their current. That was the last plan I've heard about it.
They also plan on only making money by selling a UEC after launch, and I don't think that's happening. So,
well, it's not only UEC though. I mean,
not
copies
UEC,
of the game,
but copies of the game, skins, some of the other cosmetic items they plan on. Yeah. But I agree with Berserker. I don't think that buying game cards is going to even be possible, because especially after Chris Roberts talking about this dynamic of raising the spaceships. Could you imagine I'm from EVE Online originally, and I remember guys buying Plex to buy a Titan, and that's a $3,000 ship, and it's insane to do that. But you have a ratio. Yeah, because you lose it. But the difference is Plex goes up and down based on the market, because it's player influx. So people would inflate it, and maybe a Plex one day is worth 100 million-esque, and then as we went on in the game, after about 3 or 4 years, 250 million, 300 million. All of a sudden, a Plex is worth 500 million-esque. You could actually get closer and closer to doing this through market manipulation stuff, because that's how you bought your game time, because it is a subscription model. Here, a $5 card isn't worth dick. In there, if you pay $10, what do you get? A thousand.
What's the price of the combustion pistol again on the store? It's like 500. No, it's even more than that now, isn't it? It's like 5,000 UECs on the Voyager Direct store.
I mean, it's like you can either buy 10 of those guns or an Aurora. Compare that to the real world. What kind of gun would that be? That would be a you're looking at a high-end assault rifle in the real world.
Yeah, and they're going to change all that.
Fully kitted out high-end assault rifle.
Yeah, and they're going to have to change all those
10,000
dynamics.
UEC.
So that's $10, right? 10,000 UEC is $10.
Yeah, it's 1,000 UEC to 1 USD.
And in the if you go with the current conversion ratio that they use,
Yep.
that is 4 of those guns is equal to owning an Aurora. 4 pistols. Because like this, so maybe they just have really crazy gun control laws in the UEC or in the UEE. And this is how they do it.
Well,
they just make it expensive as shit.
Here's an even better illustration. So, like, say a Redeemer right now, and this is before the rework, right? It's $250 cash, right? US. So if you translate that to UEC, that means in game, if they were going to keep it like that, it's 250,000 UEC. That's nothing. For an assault ship, like that big, that's really nothing. And we don't know what the missions are going to pay out. But if they're even close to what they do now, we could have that in like a couple days. I mean, grinding on it. So that's not practical. That's just that's not going to happen. That ship's going to be, by those metrics, worth $1 million. But if you charge that cash, then you're talking about a $2,000 cash ship. So there's going to be a disparity there. So that's my question is going to be, what's going to happen to those game time cards? What are you actually going to buy with them? Because if you want to buy UEC in game, it's not going to convert right. It can't be that way because it's going to cost you huge.
I think there will be some commodities which will always be just like today: milk, potatoes. Like there would be some commodities which are generically about the same price no matter where you are.
I think they'll have to raise it. I think at $10 they'll have to buy 10,000 UEC. Or,
that's what I think.
Or 100,000 or 100,000 go up another zero because it's going to have to be that metric.
But they've never actually. Every time they've talked about it, they said we don't want people to subsist off of buying UEC.
No,
we want this to be like, oh, you have a job, you have 2 kids, you have a wife, or a husband, and you're coming home to play some Star Citizen for like the twice a week that you have a chance to do so for 3 hours, and you don't have enough money for that shield upgrade. Drop $20 of your hard-earned cash,
which makes
and then
sense.
you could use
but under the current, if we go with the current pricing dynamics, which again we know is going to change, everybody would buy the game time. I would pay, if I could buy this ship for the equivalent of 250,000 in there, a lot of people would pay that in the cards if they had to raise it and if the market was different and all that, because you would either buy them a lot if they're worth a lot more, or nobody would buy any ever, and we'd just earn it. Because if it's only 250,000 for a Redeemer inside game, we'd feel ripped off. I would, because I'd feel like if I paid $250 for it beforehand and it's only 250,000 in the game, you know what I mean?
But so this thing is, and I've talked about this with Eric and the various podcasts we've been in together, and I think we may have even talked about this at the table when you were there. But it's like at the end of the day, what you paid for your ship doesn't mean jack shit in the game. Yeah, so
it doesn't matter, and you and I understand that, and we preach it to people all the time. It doesn't mean you won't have pissed off people about it, though, and that's something. If they're going to,
would you have to do something retroactively?
That's the other thing.
Refund now. I've played the game for 4 years in alpha, but I want my refund because I feel cheated.
What's the Super Hornet price? It's like $250, something like that for a Super Hornet, or
$265 market or real?
Real $165. Okay, so the Super Hornet's a great example of that. It's already oversaturated. And once it hits the real PU and people start buying and selling it, the price of that is going to drop. Whatever the actual value of it is going to drop, because there's just so many of them out there and they're not that versatile. They're really a one-trick pony. And I think you're going to see it constantly, that people who spent 160, or more, or whatever they spent on the gray market, they're going to be pissed at how low its actual value really is in the real game.
And that I think that's what I'm getting at, because it's basically you're gonna have disparity, because like what Jokic is even saying, it's not gonna fucking matter to guys who come in the game afterwards and buy it for in-game credits, because if the ships are reasonable and stuff, they're gonna be able to crank out. But the guys that saw it before and they have this like mental value of what it is, and they don't look at like we're pledging to support the game, they're gonna be like, dude, I spent $3,000 and I could have like basically got everything that I have now within 2 months of gameplay.
I think that's where the community steps in and just And this may sound like a heartless bastard, but I'm whatever. I'm a heartless bastard. But we ridicule them. Like we as a community. That's one of the things we have. This. So someone comes in and rages like, I spent $500 so I could get this ship, and our response is, you're a fucking moron. You shouldn't have bought a ship for money. You knew that this was going to have variable pricing. You knew everything about the economy. You were just stupid.
I always tell people, thank you for helping build my game. Because
Yeah.
it's like
That's
you
the
don't have
thing
to be. So
we've
thank
been
you.
for
saying
doing
this. All of us have been saying this over and over again as long as we've been streaming this game, and even before. First of all, you're not buying a ship. You're backing the production of the game, and you happen to be given a ship as a thank you for that. So don't correlate the price with the value of the ship. First of all, try to tell people that and they don't. They still, well, it's worth this much, so it's got to be better than X ship or Y ship is only worth this much.
And it's not new players doing this. I mean, it's the same people we see all the time that I've seen for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like new players tend to accept it when you explain it to them because they haven't invested that kind of money. It's the guys that are the better. We have several classes of people that troll the game really hard. You have this indoctrinated group of people that still think the game should have just been the original Squadron 42 or the original Pledge Promise, and they hate us for expanding the scope of the game to something amazing. They're like, I just wanted what he promised back in 2013.
I just wanted a
like,
shitty Freelancer 2.
Why
can't you give me my shitty Freelancer 2? God damn it! You know,
You just took my $200 and made Pong. God damn it! Come on, let's do that. So it's like,
Yeah.
we're beyond that now, and those guys need to go away at this point because it's beyond that. I mean, we're not going to wind back the clock, and there's no reason about crying about something that happened 3-4 years ago and all that. So they got their refunds if they wanted them. That's the way it is. And then you have the genre of people that inherently say, oh yeah, sure, I'm back in the game, and then every time something's fucked up with their ship, they're like, well, that's bullshit because the ship is X amount of money, and and then they roll back on that. And then you got the class of people that are in here that say, hey, why do I have to pay $500 for this game that's not even got any content to it? And then you got to explain down to those people that it's an alpha and all that stuff and do that because the guy who was the asshole who spent all the money who thinks you owe him something for the ships has told his buddy about the game, said, oh yeah, you just dropped like $200 or $300 and so the misinformation is going crazy all over the place. Still,
I've always told people whenever somebody comes to my stream and says, should I buy this game? I tell them no. So because if you think you're buying a game, then this is not the time to get it. Wait until it's released, then buy it. If you want to give them money to help make the game in hopes that they will deliver you the game 2 or 3 years from now, then by all means, back it. But don't buy it because you are not buying the game right now.
I just look at it like, and people that want to, don't even want to look at it that way, I tell them just look at it like it's a long life pre-order. Because guys will accept that. And don't buy anything more than the starter pack. It's a pre-order. $60 is what we pay for everything else. I've bought No Man's Sky, which I wasn't happy with. My wife got about a week play out of it. Whatever. But that was 60 bones. I've got Star Wars Battlefront. So I already spent $120 right there. You could have bought 2 game packages instead of that. I'm just saying. I mean, gamers blow money on games they hate and play less than 10 hours all the time.
Yep.
$60 isn't something to lose your fucking mind about, guys. Just look at it like a pre-order, and don't sit there and worry about spending $500-$600 because your neighbor did and he's crying about it and all that stuff. You don't have to. Just
you can understand.
Go ahead.
You can understand like the high amount of like anticipation. I mean, not many times does a game ever say like pre-order the game 3 years ahead of time.
No
it's like there's not another game out there that does that. I mean, this
one that's not
new idea of like
Kickstarter
crowdfunded.
anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and there's plenty of people who don't pre-order games, and they say this is a pre-order. Well, should I get this game because it's like no? At the end of the day, back when you want to. Just understand that the later you back, the more money you pay. And we're not talking stupid money. We're talking like I'm sure they'll release a combo pack when Star Citizen's finally in its full initial release with Squadron like episode 1 or maybe an episode 2 of Squadron 42 for like $100 or something like that at that point. Which would be a good deal for the time, but at the same time, it's going to be like, you could have gotten all of that for $40, 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. So,
and it's going to go up, right? I mean, I anticipate the game's going to go up after, I don't know, after CitizenCon, probably after Anniversary Sale or being next year.
Probably, February, March.
They'll announce it, but they'll go up with it.
I would imagine that CitizenCon is probably going to come with an announced release date, like an actual day, week, month, kind of date format for Squadron 42, and also an announcement that Squadron 42 will be $60 by itself at this point, and it'll probably another $15 or $20 if you want to add on Star Citizen. That's probably what they're going to go for.
Yeah, it's going to be like an $80 package.
Yeah, that's my guess. It's an $80 package for both when it's all said and done, and that will probably start on CitizenCon or shortly thereafter.
But what I was going to say is that at the end of the day, there are 2 types of gamers that I've experienced in that I've dealt with as when I worked at GameStop and when I've worked at other retails, is that you've got the cheap ass gamers and you have the now gamers. The cheap ass gamers, the ones who will only buy it if it's on sale, if it's under a certain price, because they don't have a lot of money, or they have a lot of money but they're really really stingy with it or whatever. They just don't like paying a lot of money for games. So I tell them, if you are one of those people who has to get it on sale, if you have to get it, below $60, this is the only time you're going to get it for a while. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to have to shell out a lot of money, and if you don't want to shell out that money, it's not Steam. It's not going to go on sale in 3 months. You're going to have to deal with the fact that this game is out, and you will have to pay money for it.
Even more so because it's not a subscription-based game. I think even at launch, this game's going to hold that price tag for a long time because you get the whole game. Yeah. I mean, for the price, it's not like, we're going to load down to $20 and pay a sub. That's not what it is. So,
and it's not like, we're going to release 15 different DLCs that you're going to have to spend extra money for because we're going to lock it behind a content wall or something like that.
Or we're going to call it an alpha forever, then start releasing DLC for it.
DLC for it.
Yeah. Like some games are. Anyway,
But the people who are like, they're going to buy it anyways, and my response is, why are you? Then either wait for it to come out because you want to get the reviews, or you're going to buy the game when it releases anyways. Why are you going to spend $60 on it? So like it's either wait and pay the higher price, or buy it now and get it cheaper. And that's if you're okay with it being buggy and shitty, then go for it. But
and if you're not in a hurry, wait till the next free fly. I always say, make your free account. I mean, they do them on a regular basis.
In October,
I mean, it's not a rush. It's not going to be out for 2 years. If you like what you see, that's what you buy. If you like playing around the alpha, you like following the development. Following the development's free. Playing around the alpha with us, it's going to cost you now instead of later, and it's not going to cost you as much though. So, something to consider there. All right, guys, we're at the point in the show where we're going to start taking some questions and stuff, and we're going to we're only going to do this for about 45 minutes so we don't kill Paul. We don't want to.
I'll be fine. I literally have 11 o'clock is my deadline. That is the 24. So, and it's 9:40.
An hour and 15 minutes, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
we'll run
I've got an hour and 15 minutes.
We'll do it then.
But before Paul dies, though, let's hear his opinions on the Logitech buyout of Saitek.
Okay, all right. I'm going to take the helmet off.
Here comes the helmet.
All right, so...
Grab your popcorn, folks.
All right, well, wait a second. Before you guys get into that, let's do one more thing. We're going to start the raffle for the $25 gift card because we do that during the entire section. Here's the rules, though, guys. You have to follow every single streamer in this channel to qualify for it, and we will check. So you have to make sure you're a follower of everybody in the entire room, please. There is a link up there that Toy's so graciously putting. So make sure you go around to not only this channel, but every other one, and make sure everybody's followed. And we will go ahead and start that now. It's going to be... capital Bros, capital BROS. Hopefully you'll figure that out. And we are going to run this for 1 hour, and we will release Paul into the bowels of his rant on Saitek, and you guys can start putting questions inside the questions channel of Discord, and we will go through them following this rant. There you go.
I will, and because I know that many people are new to Twitch, who are Star Citizen fans, and because you're like, what's this newfangled technology? For those of you who are watching from a host like myself, or I'm sure McKetton and Moonshiners are hosting the channel, make sure you go to Mitauchi channel, click on the actual link, and then go to that chat, because otherwise you won't get entered. So that you have to be.
We were talking about that earlier before the show. I had people like on my channel trying to enter WTF's raffle, and they were like screaming that they couldn't get in. I'm like, you have to go there.
It happens with every single one. If you're hosting it, it always happens. Someone always ends up in chat like that. So I always like just you made the little like the other follower. Everyone, make sure you're in the right channel.
Absolutely.
Before it goes. So for those of you guys who don't know, the Captain's Table actually had an episode that didn't air because of technical problems. So we would record it twice, but it was the same people, and we actually had 2 separate discussions about Saitek and the Star Citizen HOTA specifically, to the point where like we were so passionate about it, we filled up like 4 hours of material almost purely on just this discussion. So I've got a lot to say about this stuff. I'm going to keep it brief. But essentially, for those of you guys who don't know, Saitek is the stick manufacturer. It's spelled like this. Saitek. If you can't Get it right. But anyways, they're a peripherals manufacturer that does like sticks and wheels, and like they have like a whole thing, like a farming simulator, even like accessory sets. And they're the ones who are supposed to be doing the Star Citizen HOTUS. Well, their parent company, Mad Catz, is in serious trouble. And so part of one of their ways of getting out of being in serious trouble is they're selling off their assets. It's a very common tactic that's used in business when you're hemorrhaging money. And so they sold Saitek for a bargain basement price to Logitech. So that the Saitek is now being owned by Logitech, who does their own sticks and stuff like that. So I'm assuming they'll probably roll all of their stuff together, so it's just under the Saitek name or whatever.
Right.
Then a lot of people are like, "This is great. This means that they're going to increase their quality and all these other things." But it also raises a giant question: what about the Star Citizen HOTUS?
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything about it. We haven't heard anything about it for a year. And they've been very avoidant of it.
There's two things to bear in mind here. First of all, people just assume that when you buy a company, you buy its contracts. That's not the case at all, at least not in the United States. Each contract the contract has what's known as an assignment clause. An assignment clause specifically says that if this company is sold or its control is taken over by another company, that other company is responsible for finishing the contract as well. That's a separate clause that's put in. It's a common one, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's absolutely there in the contract. The other thing is that it also has to have, or it can also have what's known as a non-assignment clause, which also specifically says if this company is sold, they do not have to take the contracts with them. And then the other part about that is just because CIG says they have a contract, with Saitek, does not necessarily mean it was actually with Saitek, the company. It could have been with Mad Catz, the parent company, to have Saitek produce the stick, in which case Mad Catz is the one responsible for producing the stick, not Saitek. And so when Saitek was sold, that doesn't mean that Saitek is any way responsible for producing it. And then finally, this is one of the kickers, part of the sale price of Saitek, it was $13 million total. $2 million of that was set aside for paying of extra fees and fines associated with the sale. Those could also mean the fees and fines of defaulting on contracts that Logitech does not want to pick up. Mm-hmm. So there are many reasons.
So, and you also got to remember that when CIG was shopping around, for those of you guys who knew, CIG shopped around to find someone to build a custom Star Citizen HOTUS built specifically for Space Sims, specifically for Star Citizen. And they talked with Razer, they talked with Logitech, they talked with KVB, they talked with Thrustmaster, and they talked with Saitek. And
that's about all the ones available.
Yeah, and Razer doesn't even make HOTUS, so they talked with Razer, who isn't even in the department. I guess they're like, "Would you like to make one?" But so all of them, most of them were very, very keen on the idea, but they all said, "We'll just give you a branded one." Only one of them said, "We will make a custom stick for you," and that was Saitek. Logitech had turned down Star Citizen. The reason why, and it's very plainly obvious, is that if you're an Elite Dangerous player, if you're a dual universe player, if you're a what's the other one? That one that's like really photorealistic that's been getting a lot of press. The
Battlescape, Infinity
Battlescape. If you're an Infinity Battlescape fan, you don't give a fuck about Anvil Aerospace being all over your shit. In fact, you probably don't want Anvil Aerospace to be all over your shit because you don't care about Star Citizen. So most companies are like, well, we can build a custom stick, but we'll just put a brand on yours and we'll sell the stick, separately from everything else. And Star Citizen didn't want that. CIG didn't want that, and so that's why they went with Saitek. At the end of the day, unfortunately, Logitech did not want them. Now Logitech owns Saitek. If they feel that financially it would be a burden to try to make it and sell the product, they probably would just say, "Screw it, we'll pay off CIG, pay them some money, say we're sorry we can't complete this contract. You figure what's going on. Here's a little money to make the pain go away and make you stop yelling at us with your lawyers, and that'll be it." So more than likely, because of the people involved and because of how screwed Saitek has been because of Mad Catz, it is my firm opinion that we will never see a Star Citizen HOTUS.
At least not from Saitek/Logitech.
No, if we see a Star Citizen HOTUS, it'll be like the Thrustmaster FCS with just some Star Citizen stickers on it.
Yeah, and also the other thing is people are like, well, Logitech, that means the quality is going to improve. Granted, Saitek had worse quality control than Logitech, but Logitech quality is not renowned when it comes specifically to controllers. Mice, yes. Keyboards, sure. Speakers, great stuff. Cameras, we all use only Logitech cameras. But game controllers, joysticks, those are the Logitech game controllers and joysticks are the entry level, the bottom of the barrel. It works and it's cheap stick out there when it comes to PC gaming.
It's the last of the Logitech holdouts because Logitech used to be all bargain basement bull, and then they increased their quality. But the Logitech, I mean, even now, I don't think they make them, but if they did, it would be like the modern version of the crappy controller that you give your like friend or your cousin so they can play it. It would be the one that like is terrible and hardly ever works, or the headset that's like needs to get charged after like 10 minutes because it's so messed up or whatever. It's still like that.
Let me put it this way. I've never heard somebody say I bought the Logitech 3D or whatever that stick is called, 3D Pro or whatever it is, because it's good. Yeah, I bought it because it was the only one at Walmart. That tells you the quality right there.
Just so you know, I'm pushing mine underneath my desk with my foot right now. So just letting you know. But I told Eric and Astro and Moon all about this earlier, though. I bought mine 25 years ago. The model has not changed in 25 years, and that's not because it's good. I'm just saying. If you go to eBay right now, the one stick they sells for $15 on eBay. You can buy the old version or you can buy the new one for $59.99, and the old version is the exact same model. I've held them against each other. I mean, identical. There's no paint difference, no model difference on it. They're selling the exact same joystick they have for 25 years, and it's not because it's good.
But the thing is that you get what you pay for. So at the end of the day, like it's just like a Logitech stick is cheap, even if it's $49.99. That's cheap in comparison to sticks. So if it breaks the moment or like 2 months after you get it, it's $50, whatever. That's the price of the game.
They're pretty durable. It's just the responsiveness versus another stick. Like I've tried some of the other Saitek sticks even and some of the other stuff out there, and it's not the same. It feels just like their gamepads do, right? Everybody's seen the Logitech gamepads or had one at one time. It's rigid, it doesn't feel comfortable, and it tries to be like an Xbox or a PlayStation hand controller, but it is not by any means, and you can feel the cheapness of it just holding it. It's just not the same thing.
The thing about it is the Logitech suffers from the same problem that, say, like the X55 and X56 does. If you're going to spend $35 on a Logitech stick, you might as well spend another $5 or $10 and get yourself a Thrustmaster T16000 because it's a far superior stick. If you're going to spend $150 to $200 on the X55 or X56, you might as well spend the same amount of money and buy yourself a CH Pro stick and a CH throttle because they're far superior in terms of quality and accuracy and whatnot. And that's just the way it works.
And that's been the big problem with Saitek is you're paying $200 to $250 for a HOTUS that has a 1 in 3 chance of being a lemon.
Yep.
It has a 1 in 3 chance of being absolutely astounding, the best things that's ever happened to you in terms of gaming peripherals. It has a 1 in 3 chance of literally breaking on you the second you take it out of the box, and a 1 in 3 chance that it would just kind of be meh and break after 6 months.
In Logitech's favor, though, they make amazing mice and keyboards. I've had a G13 forever, and it's amazeballs. It will not break. I've literally thrown it against the wall 10 years ago, and it's beautiful. I still use the G700 mouse. It is my favorite mouse all time. I have an extra in a box back there. They've just never focused on the air peripherals. I think they just make them to make extra IPs to sell. So maybe this is a change where they're actually going to try to make a new joystick with.
They were the only game for years in the 80s and 90s. Logitech was the only type of controller you could get for a computer, unless it was one that came with the computer. Like that. I don't know how many of you go back that far, but like Radio Shack had their own joystick. There was a tiny little nub with one button. The same with like the Commodore 64 had that. If you wanted anything better than that, you bought the Logitech stuff, and it was better than that, but it wasn't good by any stretch of the term.
It was the best. It was the best third-party offer, and then Mad Catz came out, and Mad Catz honestly did controllers better than Logitech did, but still not good. But yeah, no, and I think at the end of the day, what we're going to see probably is we will probably see a good Logitech line, or Saitek will probably be, because Saitek was a good company before Matt Getz bought them. They were an astounding company. Like the X50.
They apparently were mismanaged, right? Because I mean that's why they got bought out. That's
but they were mismanaged, but they had really good quality assurance. They had really good like practices. Like everything was really well. They just were in a shitty market. Like it was hard for them to make money because they were a stick company.
I was gonna say flight sticks are not a huge market item, guys. When that's your specialty, I don't think you're gonna be like
for the last 10 years, flight sticks have been that's why they haven't changed. It's why nobody's made a new one.
In 20 years. No need. Yeah, because there's no need because they
space games are coming back and they're getting hot. So now
and so are the flight sims. Yeah. DCS is coming, and you got and even like the more casual games like the Battlefield games that have flight built into them. Those are much better if you fly the plane or whatever with a joystick, and people are starting to discover them.
It's like Arma is even starting to become more of a common game that like whereas like Arma 2 was like a niche milsim, Arma 3 is something you'll see on the front page of Twitch every single day, which usually indicates that there's a lot of more popular kind of feedback for it. And Arma, when you fly those helicopters, you fly those planes in Arma, sticks are 100% better than mouse or keyboard. You're going to deal with that. So people look to that as well. So now it's a little bit better. So hopefully Logitech is doing this so they can be like, all right, we're going to bring Saitek back to the X56 days before, or X60, the X60.
The X45 is the one you want to aim for.
The X45 and the
was
X65.
An amazing stick. I owned an X45 for years. I regret selling it. I sold it because it was a little broke, and at the time I didn't know how to fix it, and I wish I would have figured out how to fix it because the X45 was an amazing stick. And if you can get one with an adapter, you can adapt it to run USB now. It is still one of the best sticks to fly with. Same with the X65, but the X65 was expensive, and most people couldn't get used to the fact that the stick didn't move. It was force sensing, it didn't. It was just really weird how to describe it.
So I want to know, Moon, what do you think their intention is with this whole buy thing? And I want to know what you use. What keyboard do you use, and what do you got set up there? Tell me.
I use a Razer Nugget. I was just gonna say, with all this being said, does this just mean that like mouse and keyboard are king? I mean, I'm sorry for all you joystick users. I know this is terrible, but mouse and keyboard is king. It's the reason why your company is falling apart. I'm sorry, Saitek, but your joystick just isn't as good as me just being, WC, control.
And the whole reason is
spacebar. Sorry.
I keep saying
I love the conversation, but mouse and keyboard is king.
I was going to say, I might get some sticks, but they would be purely so that way I don't get carpal tunnel with my mouse. And that way I just have a different adjustment. The minute I go to a fight, I grab for my mouse and keyboard. I've even tried to use the gamepad. And the gamepad response in FPS is weird in Star Citizen. It does not feel locked in and into it like it does when you're playing a console game. I immediately grab back mouse keyboard because I feel a lot more into it there. I've tried to use the other peripherals, and it's just, I don't know. Maybe so I don't get carpal tunnel as a relaxation for my hand, but the minute the shit's on and it means something, I'm grabbing for my mouse and keyboard. That's just me. So I don't know. I'm with you, Moon, on that. I'm just like, I might get them for fun, but I just don't see me being like, this is my deal. So to each his own in that. But let's dive into some of these other questions, guys. Let's see here. So we'll let Moon answer the first one because he loves it when I put him on the spot. And the first one I got up there with Mayonnaise, it says, do you think we will be able to mix and match our spacesuits, such as a different helmet, suits, boots, and gloves? So what do you think?
Yeah, they said that, right?
Yeah, they've said that. They've said that. I don't know what degree, though, because they haven't specified, because I think there was some debate about that.
What they said specifically was that they want to do everything customized. Like I'm sure there'll be like gloves, the forearm, like they want to go in detail, but they're also like we also don't want to like chug the engine just because you want to look pretty. Right. So sometimes it may just be your sleeves would be one, and then your chest would be one, and then your legs would be one, and your boots would be one, and your helmet would be one, and to be like a 5 or 6 piece armors that you could customize, but you're not going to be able to customize each arm, kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah, and the thing that's holding it back right now is the item port system from what they were talking about like last week or the week before. And that's why we're still running on version 1.0 of the helmet or version 2.0 or whatever when they're at like version 4 of everything else. It's because the helmet, the new helmets wasn't ready for the item port system yet.
Yeah. You're saying chug the system.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Moon. Sorry.
Well, you're saying chug the system. I mean, I was talking to a guy today about a bug he's getting. Like whenever he puts on the heavy armor, his system just chugs down because I guess there's just so much going on with the helmet and so much going on with the suit.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard about this, but
I have the same thing with the medium marine armor. It's what I've been wearing lately, and I noticed that if I take it off, I suddenly everything tends to smooth out. It's probably one of the causes of there's both graphics memory and system memory leaks going on.
Yeah.
I've been tracking them for about the last 2 weeks, and they definitely exist because here's something like if you die. Your memory footprint should drop until it reloads the assets, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't drop. In fact, it stays there, and then it loads the assets on top of it. So you'll watch my video memory go from 3.5 gigabytes when I died, and I've been playing for an hour to 4 gigabytes, which is now really, at a 970. Yeah. That's a problem. I'm using two 970s.
It's spilling over into your regular memory table then, and that's properly defined in most games, like every other one, as a memory leak, right? Because it's something where it's not releasing the memory. Very familiar with that. And that's why a lot of people look at my stream and they'll be like, wow, you're going still, you're getting good frame rates and stuff. You must have like 1080, dual 1080. So I'm like, no, I run a 970, but I got a dump over pool of memory. I run DDR4 and I have 32 gigs in there. Yep. So my memory table just takes longer than everybody else's, but I eventually crash too once it gets full. It just doesn't matter.
Yep.
It's going to happen. It's just how long you can stave that off.
I can tell when I'm about to get to the point where I have to quit because I'll watch when my system memory hits 12 gigabytes, I have 16 gigs. I know I'm going to start getting stutters every time. And I can watch it climb up there slowly but surely. The more people are dying in the universe, the faster it happens. Not in Arena Commander. It doesn't happen in Arena Commander. But in the universe, you hear an explosion, and you can watch another gig of memory just appear on your memory footprint. It's crazy.
It's always fun when the streamers find each other in the universe because it was like today it was Mitauchi, myself, WTFsaurus, Clifford, and that was like 5 different streamers. We were just all like going at each other the entire time, and it was like I think it was 5 minutes. Like we were there for 5 minutes, and then the server just
it never lasts. The minute we get more than 5 of us in one server, it's done. It's because we're going to be doing something. People are dying.
We're going to be fighting each other.
Yeah, and it's over because everybody dies. Because as a regular server, it'd be like one of us in our stream, like whether it's Moon, Astro, me, or whatever, are sitting there killing people, but it's infrequent. It's like one guy comes by, maybe somebody dies, one guy comes by. But when it's all of us, it's like boom, 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 30 kills go by, goodbye server. It doesn't matter. It's when you hit that
when
number.
the skies are blacked out with like half the servers, ships are just flying everywhere, shooting.
Because I bet it is, like Eric says, I bet if you get a certain number of kills, like it'll just crash.
We have there has been a lot of testing done on that already. They're pretty aware of it. So it's that's
see if
something
there's
that
like
is
a straight consistent number. Like if we kill somebody, like actually send them to Korea.
There are certain ships that I have definitely confirmed do more than others. Obviously, everybody knows the Starfarer. When the Starfarer spawns and when it dies, it'll kill a server sometimes, just like that. Like just its existence will do it.
It also kills if you ram 2 of them together. It creates a small nebula and the whole server goes away because we've done that.
I think that just highlights. It highlights a lot of. Go ahead. Sorry.
Super Hornet deaths are another big problem. Sabers, ironically, aren't, which I think is one of the reasons why it's not a huge problem for some people, because there's some people that they only fly the best ship, and currently the Saber's the best ship, and so that's why they're not seeing it as much.
That's because the Super Hornet wasn't designed with the new damage models in place, and Super Saber was. So they have to go back when they go back and reskin it with the F7A or F7CA, whatever the hell they're calling it now. The new reskin that they're doing, that will be skin for it. But
those old ships, the original ships, they were up to between 100 and 300 megabytes of loading data every time.
Well, they also,
compared to the new ships,
them,
with like 5 megabytes.
When they built them, if you remember, where they built it all the way like a real ship from the inside out. I mean, it has all the piping system stuff. Now with the new ships, they even mentioned, if you guys go back and watch the Herald video, any area that doesn't need to have penetration or a type of occlusion in it, they don't include that. They leave it void inside or they make it solid. So they aren't putting unnecessary things that you'll never see because it's not part of the destruction animation. It's not part of that. So they're making them even more optimized now than they did a year and a half ago. So, I mean, the older ships, like the Hornet, has every asset. It probably has more assets than some of the most advanced similar size ships that we have now. Like the Saber and Hornet, I guarantee the Hornet has way more assets to it than what the Saber does. So, and that's why we're running into that stuff, and that's why they don't destruct right either.
I'm wondering if a lot of this also doesn't have to do with the fact that we're still using cheapo, shitty servers for testing right now, and like the new netcode. When the new netcode comes in, like if that'll start changing things.
I'm almost
the one
scared
big thing
about the new netcode. I don't want to put too much faith in it. I know it's going to improve it, but I think people are thinking we're going to be like 200 people off the jump.
Oh no. We're gonna get 30. We're gonna get 30 FPS with like 40 people in there, and we're gonna like praise Jesus that doesn't crash every hour. You know, that's essentially what we're gonna get. But it'll be like night and day. It'll be like what 2.1 was versus 2.0. Like 2.0 was like we got in our ship and flew out of Olisar, and it was a fucking victory. If we won, it was like we were counting. I remember we would all have like crash counters and timers to see how long we could be on there. With 2.1, which is like bets. Why do we even count anymore? It's like I've been here for like 6 hours and we haven't even crashed. What's going on?
We would have bets running constantly in our chats for people to bet how long before we crashed, if we could make it into our ship, all sorts of things. Remember Bad News Baron did that one stream where he refused to stop streaming until he actually managed to get into Olisar and into his ship and take off, and it was an 11-hour stream or something.
11-hour stream.
Yeah, it's crazy. Cade in regular chat over here, he says, I love how pessimistic everyone is. I think we unlike No Man's Sky, we like to undersell. We like to deflate it so we're naturally surprised. I mean, I'll be ecstatic if we can get 40 players. If we can get 40 players in the server, I'll be really happy. Really happy at 40. That's all. I mean, it's almost double.
Oh, 40 would be fantastic.
And I know they'll iterate more. I know they'll get to the 100, 200 eventually. But I would just if they could just
with
do
24 people, like today, we had probably close to 24 people with all of us. It was a madhouse. It was insane. It was chaotic. You didn't know who was fighting who or where was going what. It felt like you were in a real dogfight. And plus you didn't. And if you thought about it, there was also probably like 3 or 4 people on the station, if not more. And you had 10 people in ships, 10 people on the station, all going at each other in kind of this disorganized or organized chaos. And it was fun. It was frenetic. It was
total Star Citizen orgy. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, can you imagine, like, people say, oh, well, I want to have like thousands. Like, you really don't know what thousands of players is. Thousands of players
and
is
you wouldn't
like
see them anyway.
Thousands would be amazing, but again, like Eric said, it would be several battles across multiple systems or a single system. You would never see everybody because they wouldn't. It's not about them fitting on grid. It's just like, if you were in a Civil War battle and some of these things, you'd never see all the other regiments of people because you're in your one engagement right there. You couldn't even perceive it. So.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, after I think there's I'm sure there's some studies about it. There's like after a certain number of like participants in any kind of activity, you just lose. Like I think it's like 100 to 150. You just can't perceive after 150. It just becomes too big for your brain to comprehend, and it starts compartmentalizing and just like
here's the thing. When people are like, it should be doable. It should be doable for the server to handle it, absolutely. But your system is not going to handle it. Nope. There isn't a gaming computer built that's going to be able to handle rendering all those ships and people at the level of detail that Chris wants it. It just doesn't exist.
Exactly, and that's the point. Not at the level Chris wants it, because if you did, and if you could do it, but guess what it would be? It'd be EVE Online, because that's what it is. It boils it down to little dots, and that's where the LODs go back. And it's little dots, and having played EVE for almost a decade. It's an amazing game and all that, but you don't get that. All the EVE players that really want more than that, you don't get that intimacy of the ship. So instead the perception, the fight of like, if I'm on my Idris and say Moon's on his, and we both have crews and our bros on it and stuff like that, the perception becomes more about our ships fighting and maybe fighters and some other caps involved in that immediate engagement. But I'm also engaged with all my crew, trying to keep my ship together, trying to get fire control on them, trying to make sure that they're launching ships out of the fighter bay. I mean, there's so much going on. Do I give a fuck if there's 24 more like caps over there on the other side of the system? No, I'm trying to save my ass right here with my bros, right here in this immediate area. So, I mean, there could be thousands going on, but I wouldn't know it. And the matter of fact is, right now, with the current tech, there could be. You'd just be instanced off. You don't see them on grid there. They're around everywhere else. But he's trying to make that larger battle thing by upping the player count. And he will over time. But it's just
after a certain point, you won't perceive it, though.
I go back often to this game that I used to play. I played for 6 years called World War II Online. It was one of the first, what I would consider the first true massively multiplayer games, in that they had a server that could handle 10,000 people at once. you could see up to 256 people at once, depending on your system capabilities. But this was Europe on a 1/4 scale. And the game still exists, but it's really dated now. But it's Europe on 1/4 scale, mostly Western Europe, with all these cities and whatnot in there. And when you would get into a battle, it's just like Mitauchi said, there was a whole war going along the front with up to thousands of people fighting. But the only thing that mattered was your checkpoint or your forward base or whatever, and the 10 or 20 people around you. And if it was a really heavy battle, yes, there would be 256 people rendered, most of them enemies because of the way the biasing system works. So suddenly it looked like you're all alone because the biasing system renders who's the biggest threat to you.
We had these 3,000 man fights. Your fleet list only holds 256, so even your perception of what you can see of somebody else might be 200 to 300 people. It doesn't render everybody. You don't see everybody. You see this beautiful slow-mo because it has tie-dye and all this stuff to help render it, but you do not see 3,000 actual dots. You'll just see this layer on layer, and eventually the LODs in that game, just like what we're doing in this, go away. You can just see a lot more because it's a smaller scale or a wider view of a large scale, so it's just perceived that way. But let's move on to the next question because we'll never get to it for them.
Yeah,
it's like I'm going to beat this one to death because I'm just like you guys, and I'll just be like, yeah, let's dive into this forever. So Toy had a question actually transferred it from I think it was Heisei said it earlier. It was today. Yeah, he put it out earlier. So question was, what's your thoughts on the F8 Lightning possibly going on concept sale? Ben said its role in Squadron 42 has changed and may now go for sale. In any case, they'll probably want some way for players to get to try it.
Mm-hmm. That came with like a lot of ifs and maybes, and maybe as a promotion.
And I know where I think he got that from. He got it from probably we watch weekly, and I always promote it, even though Nikki D'Angelo doesn't know me from anybody. She has a great
Batgirl.
Batgirl. She does a great podcast on Wednesday called Ben's Day, and really that's the only place I get to see Ben now because he's so busy internally and he's not really part of the broadcast stuff. Yeah, so he's father of ships, but he leaks all kinds of details to Nikki on there, and it's amazing. So
if you don't get a chance to, and for a lot of people don't know, is that there's a lot of really, really old school content creators like Nikki and Lognate and Disco Lando.
Logante. It's like, who the hell is Lognate?
Sorry, Logante and Kin Shadow. Yeah. And those guys, and they all had really, really close relationships with those early CIG founders. So they have a lot of information that even
they get accesses that we don't for sure.
Because they're like personal friends with them and have their cell phone numbers, kind of stuff.
Correct. So absolutely. So again, on this one, this came up with F8 Lightning, and it was something that Ben kind of alluded to that we may see it come on sale. And it's like. So what are your guys' thoughts about that? Do you think that's something? I mean, I don't know a lot about it.
There's not enough to know about the ship for me to even say what that would, what kind of impact that would have.
Because I don't even know the original role, much less what it would have changed to.
Well, it's the Super Hornet. It's the replacement for the F7A. Okay. So that should give it's a brand new. It is the newest combat ship in the UEE, even newer than the Sabre. The Sabre was its direct competitor, and the Sabre lost. So that much we know about it. That the F8 Lightning is better than the Sabre.
That's pretty crazy.
Can I interrupt a little bit? Yeah. One of my mods actually illustrated the ability, the instructions to make Drake mashed potatoes.
Oh wow!
So I want to with the Herald. I don't know if I can link it or not in chat without getting timed out.
Space Bro thing. I'll try to bring it up there so we can see it.
Okay, it is kind of glorious. It's MS Paint brilliant. So we can go ahead. Sorry, but I think what we'll probably see though in the end of the day is pissed. What we'll probably see though at the end of the day is we'll see it in Arena Commander. It'll be an Arena Commander rack ship. I don't think it'll ever be in the universe like purchasable. It'll be like the Glaive.
Yeah, it could be. Where do you link it at? I didn't see it yet. What happened?
It's on the space.
Oh, I see it.
You put it in questions, but
Oh, my bad.
That's all good.
I'll delete it and move it.
Flying Gecko, that's true. If the ship's roles change, the info could be different. But when people are asking us questions about it, all we can go on is what we officially know. I mean, we can make shit up, but then we'd be no better than some of the other
then
podcasters.
you'd be watching my regular show because I just make shit up the entire time and just tell you guys all sorts of bullshit. Then you go to these guys and you're like, who told you that? And I swear you secrecy. Don't ever fucking tell them that I told you that. So,
I mean, like, do you even know what the subtitle of the captain's table is? We don't know shit. That's literally the subtitle. We just don't know shit. We just make shit up half the time.
Really? I was told I was a CIG dev after I attended your podcast.
You are a CIG dev.
Now I'm a dev, right? I
know
know
we're dev. We're all
when we're on.
We get Moonshiner on, so he could be a official CIG dev.
There you
so
go.
we can.
There you go. So here we have the illustration floating above our heads here. That I'd have to say this was from one of the CIG artists, right? Because the fidelity on this is amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He did the flyers for Pubomania as well.
So
those flyers
we're going to make
awesome,
a CIG cookbook,
so cool.
and this is the technique to make mashed potatoes in a Drake Herald.
You have to have a specific bowl, the Drake bowl. You know,
you have to put them in the bowl there. I'm not sure if that's potatoes being made or diarrhea, but either way, that might be a stool softener as well. But it works the same way. You just have to clean the bowl between uses. So it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Ego Shikari is the my mod who's made it.
Oh, hey, Mitauchi.
What's up?
Your Discord link in the Mitbot's using is an expired one.
Is it? I just updated it. Damn it. Anyway, join Discord. Go to the questions thing. If you don't have the Discord thing,
you need to make it permanent instead of 24-hour or whatever.
Yeah, I used to do that. Then people put all kinds of really odd, uncomfortable questions in there when I was not on the air. But yeah.
Question: does Mitauchi prefer Astroglide or KY?
For the record, Astroglide, but it's like everybody's got their preference.
That's peasant stuff, man. You guys gotta get
that Discord links where you can dump your questions, guys. Just so you know.
It's not for what you would think. It's because they actually are not harmful to the environment. They actually, they don't test on animals, and it's biodegradable. So that's
water-based, definitely.
Back to the F8 Lightning. When it comes down to this, we don't know jack about that ship, and that's been delivered.
And I don't have enough information to answer it because that's a Ben Nikki conversation that they probably have inside info that they've talked to each other off the air, and I don't know.
And even if it's still there was a whole lot of ifs in that statement. If this happens, if that happens, we may want to do this. If we can do that.
So my answer is
it's the CIG test
probably. Maybe
it's the CIG test balloon,
So M92 has a question here, and this is rather long, so I will read it.
He could get his answer to it if he watches last week's Space Bro podcast. Because
for what? We covered the M92 or about the cargo.
Yeah. He goes we covered we spent an hour talking about the cargo.
I know we went off on a tangent. It was longer than the Saitek conversation by far.
No, we've had that conversation. Me and Eric are pretty much of the same opinion at this point that with the reason why I was prefacing is because a lot of people probably wouldn't know how dour we are on Saitek.
Exactly.
We both have been burned by Saitek several times in our lives, and it hurts. And we won't let them forget it.
Yeah,
we are very vengeful, bitter ex-lovers of Saitek.
By this point, they're not the same company because the original company's gone, and then the company that had the company's gone. Now the company's now over the other company. So somebody must have got fired somewhere. Hopefully,
it's like being
30% of their workfore got fired in January. 30%,
33%. A third of them were fired. Well, it's like being a Microsoft or Sony fans. Like every generation, you're like, I'm going to buy the latest generation, and it's either one's the better or the other is better, and you feel burned as hell. And then the next one's like, I really hope they're good, and then maybe it's your generation's turn this year. Maybe this generation's yours. It's that kind of like up and down feel.
We'll keep the response to the cargo brief then. We'll go. So basically, this question. It seems that the first iteration cargo will be rather cheap, which I don't like that reference actually, but. In the way that you just pop into your cargo hold. I believe that this should only be very temporary as a system. Not only would this cause problems, e.g. items spawning on top of someone inside the cargo bay. Well, then they're dumb for staying in the area marked cargo. It's clearly marked on the ground. But also rip immersion. It goes against everything SC is trying to be, and it would hope in the future you would either have to manually load cargo with a forklift or such mechanic or hire NPCs to do it automatically. Now, before you say but you may not want to wait 10 minutes to load cargo, who said it will? Take the freelancer, for example. One long forklift could load and one... No, it can't because a freelancer is multi-sectioned. You can't load it in one go. Any robotic machines would carry in air loads of ship, blah, blah. And I get that. We talked, again, like Eric said, we talked about this last night. They're going to do that, and they already said they want to do that in the first iteration because people want to land and load the ship. They did not say it would be instantaneous. They just said that it would be automatic. So they still might put some sort of time preference. But again, some people, like us, we can spend our whole lives playing the game. Other people work and have lives and only have 2 or 3 hours of gameplay, and we want those guys to be able to participate too. So I understand the balance, and I understand the rip immersion complaint though too. But everything in the game is not immersive anyway. It's not good. Go ahead, and let's hear Moonshiner's thing.
Yeah, honestly, does it really? I mean, right now you spawn your ship. Does that rip your immersion, or do you still enjoy the game?
Yeah.
You know, the ship just spawns right there. I mean, can they just make the game? Does everything have to be like loaded out and showed to us? Can we just have it be there? Because like, isn't the whole thing about getting the object from here to another place and the interaction being in space and not watching the animation of it happen? I mean, like no one's yelling at the constellation from just appearing and
if you want immersion with cargo loading, and this almost goes back to the old argument of the 1-to-1 space ratio, where people wanted to take 3 weeks to travel across the one solar system. I'm not playing a game that does that. You can just unsub me right now. The whole thing with this, if you want immersion, a real RPer, and this is something that I experienced, and I can't remember what game it was because it was the same metric. You automatically get cargo. They were literally so hardcore RP, they would go sit in the bar, and it was a fantasy game. They would sit in the bar and wait so long before they could go do something. You could do the same thing. Load your ship. Don't fucking go anywhere. Wait an hour. Pretend the NPCs loaded it and do that. I mean, because here's the problem with that. If it takes you 20 minutes or whatever, and you say 10 minutes, no real fucking loading of a Starfarer would take 10 minutes. Promise you. I've done industrial loading in trucks. It would not take 10 minutes. It would take way longer than 10 minutes to load your ship, and even with mag stabs and advanced stuff and all that stuff.
Yeah, no, it's something the size of a Starfarer is like that's like.
And that's if they have all your cargo
full like cargo units. Like that can take weeks.
Well, let's say that, and that's assuming all your cargo's ready to go. I've never loaded a truck when I was doing that back in the day, and the cargo was actually ready. The manifest be like, we're missing this and this and this. Oh, come back in 2 hours and pick up your semi because we're not going to have it ready for you yet. And you can ask any truck driver, and that's the honest to God truth. They pull back up the truck to the dock, and then they'll bang on it when they're loaded, and it won't be like.
I asked this question last time, and it still applies to this conversation. How many of you are looking forward to using only the port modification tool to kit out an Idris?
Please shoot me now.
Oh God.
That's why. Why they have to make they have to make those sacrifices.
They do somewhere.
The fun versus realism argument. In the end, if it is more fun to be unrealistic, fun weighs out every time because they're making a game to be fun more than anything else.
In the final iteration, I would like to see NPCs moving around. I would like to see them maybe look like they're loaded. That's cool, but that's not realism of even. Let's be honest. Even 10 minutes. If you're a cargo runner and that's all you fucking do, how many times do you want to spend 10 minutes to an hour watching your ship load? I mean, are you going to do that forever?
At the same time, here's the thing: is that it's a good way. The games are defined by their pause moments, not their active moments. Active moments are cool, but the pause moments are the ones where you get moments of immersion gameplay, where you see that one bar you've never been to before, or you run into moonshiners you didn't even think you could see. Oh wow, moonshiner, cool! I've seen him stream on Twitch, and you have a moment where you can hang out.
NPC girls hanging all over
all the time. Like whoa, moonshiner.
But I mean, like it's those moments that you see people post on Reddit or have like it's the memorable the things that they remember from the gameplay. They don't remember killing the 5,000th pirate that they've had to kill, and for whatever reason. So those pause moments are important, and emphasizing those pause moments are important. But it's also important not to be bored as fuck. Right. So you're gonna want it like a Starfarer to take 10 minutes, and a freelancer might take 1 minute. You may want to have some
and they'll probably adjust those time frames too, because we don't know. And they already said, and I already think this is going to be a problem, right? Because they already said when you salvage or you loot a ship, whether it's in space or on a planet, that part is real time. You are going to have to physically unload the ship and take the time to do that. So if anything, I think that's going to be more of a problem when you go to a manifest and you have a complete starfare, or God forbid a whole E, and you're trying to get the cargo and you're a pirate, like, oh, we need more ships here, and you're trying to manually move all this shit. I'm like, I can't even imagine how many hours that would take.
Back when the port modification tool first came out, one of the experiments I did on stream was how long will it take me to completely replace all the missiles on a constellation? There's 48 missiles, I think it was. And the fastest I was able to get it down to was 23 minutes. I remember that number. The first time it was like 45 minutes before I got it down to where I knew exactly how to get to the fastest spot. 23 minutes.
Yep.
That's my reason why they are going to use those shortcuts. Because nobody wants to. Yeah, there might be one person out there that gets a kick out of doing that. Like Rollerkip said, there's always that one guy. But the vast majority of players will simply stop playing that portion of the game if it's that much of a problem.
No, so just to clarify, we're dealing with like players. They're saying that players won't be able to load their own cargo, kind of thing. It's mostly
they want more realism in like a time to do it, like 10 minutes, and have NPCs do it as an option. Say you have to pay them. And all that, and they're worried about it being immersion breaking, that it's just auto-loaded in your ship. That's the concern.
I don't think they'll ever do auto-loaded. I think it might go auto-loaded.
They're doing where it pops in and appears in your stuff.
Oh yeah, but that'll be like at the very beginning. I'm sure it'll change over time. I don't challenge
everybody to say, let's say if they offer you an option of auto-load versus manual load, I guarantee after 2 months, the amount of people that would manually load it would be like 2 guys, and everybody else would be like. It's
the argument at the head bob. It's like who would actually want a detrimental head bob in an FPS battle? No one wanted.
Is it more realistic? Sure.
Yeah,
is it fun? No.
No, but if someone, and that'll be like that split second moment between like life or death. Does this person have head bob? Does one doesn't? The person who doesn't have head bob is going to win.
And if I'm losing a second rep every time I die, I'm going to be like, fuck that head bob. And the same thing happens with cargo. If you have the option to do the immersive manual load versus the Instapop, well, that's cool. There's an NPC station over here that wants a load of certain type of material. You do your manual, I'll do instant, and we'll see how much it's worth when you get there. Because I'll beat your ass there while you're sitting there waiting for your immersion to go through.
But that's the thing is, I think that we'll never have instant in the final version, just because instant. Like I said, the moments of pause, you're going to need to have some time, even with just fuck it, just let somebody else do it. They deal with the shit. I don't want to have to like put shit in my cargo. Like I don't want to have to sit there and load 50 tons of space potatoes in my whole or 5,000.
And I agree, it should take some time. I just don't know what that number is, and it's one of those things. Again, we won't know till we test it. We're going to have to feel it. I mean, that's just
and who knows? An auto loading system where it just pops in there might be enough for everybody, and the CIG might like it, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, what most people like, if you see the non-hardcore Star Citizen faithful looking at it, they're just like, "Hey, I just want to see my fucking cargo. I'm tired of like the games like Elite Dangerous. It's all fucking same container that you just
somebody mentioned in chat about loading a whole E. Could you imagine doing that manual? Go ahead and load your whole E up, bro. See how that works.
In orbit. In orbit.
Yeah, with an Argo. It's like
sitting there for 24 hours with the Argo, moving one cargo pod at a time.
If you play 6 hours at a time, you're probably like, well, I got one ring of one section done. Let's go ahead and do the next one tomorrow.
Let's not even talk about those whole E haulers that are like, I will only haul the finest jewels of the universe. Yeah. So I could make billions of dollars in one. It's like, you're hauling fucking space potatoes, son. You know
exactly. I don't know what you're talking about.
The whole fucking the crown jewels of the Xi'an Empire through space on a whole
There's not that many crown jewels to hold all those crates.
You're hauling space potatoes to Space Island. That's what's happening.
Hiding them in the potatoes. So there's one container of jewels, and the rest are all potatoes.
And that's the only reason why you manual load. You manual load that one container that took you 24 hours because you had that smuggled, sapphire from the Xi'an Empire. This is Empress, that you want to take it back in and like make billions on. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, there absolutely will be some sort of time frame on
I would
auto,
think
and it's very likely that the more money you're willing to pay for your Teamsters and your Loadmasters, the shorter that time frame is going to be as well. that's probably how that's going to work. And depend on the quality of the port. You landed at the Spider space station in Cathcart. It's probably going to take a while for shit to get loaded because you're going to have some drunks and people high on slam
and probably some shit missing too. It's like, hey,
but
it's only half done again.
Or it's that scene in Lord of War. You land and then like an hour later, your Starfarer is in 50,000 different pieces because they're all running away with your fucking components.
You're gonna have to bribe them with space weed, or it's not gonna work out. I'm just telling you in advance. So.
But then at the same time, when you go and you land on Terra Prime, it's far more likely that it's going to be a fast loadout, but it's also going to cost you more. There's also probably going to be more tariffs associated with Terra and whatnot, and those are going to be the trade-offs.
And you got to bribe the custom agents too, or else you'll never get loaded.
You got to bribe the custom agents. You got to pay the union fees. You got to do all that kind of stuff, because NPCs have rights too, yo.
All right, Mayonnaise asks. He says, "Do you think the host-host users will have an advantage while flying over a keyboard mouse user?" And if so, do you think CIG will attempt to balance this upon release?
All right, here we go.
Oh boy.
No, it's
all right,
the opposite.
Moon, you take out Eric. I'll take out
keyboard
Astro.
and mouse users used to have a distinct advantage over joystick users in almost everything but maneuvering. What happened was they did balance that out by introducing ESP and the gimbal size up, size down system, so that you make a choice between maneuverability and firepower versus accuracy and reliability, and that's the way it is now. And and granted, ESP is broken right now, but still, that's pretty much the way it is. If you're a mouse user, especially an interactive mode mouse user, you pay that price of going one size down to have fully gimbaled, fully manually controlled guns, and you get an accuracy boost out of that. Whereas if you're a stick user, you pay the price of not having that accuracy, but you get more powerful guns and, generally speaking, better control over the movement and flight of your ship. It's more responsive.
I fly keyboard and mouse with fixed guns, just so people know.
Yeah.
I'm an oddity, but I do it. That's why I like it.
But that's the thing, is that at the end of the day, it's optional, and I think ever since they've been working on that kind of stuff, the question isn't who's the better, it's like, what are you comfortable with? If you use mouse and keyboard your whole life, just use a mouse and keyboard. If
I'm not
you
a big
use
fan
sticks,
of this
use a stick.
balancing artificially type thing. I'm really not. I think, if there's a better peripheral and you want to get good, I guess you got to get the better peripheral. The same way, if I want my computer to run better frames, guess what? I got to spend the money on my computer. They shouldn't nerf my computer to run the same frames as somebody who doesn't have as good a computer. You know what I mean?
Well,
so I'm the same way with peripherals.
At the same time, there's a learning curve issue, and I think that's the biggest issue people have. It's like, well, I've spent a lot of time to learn how to use my my stick, but it's like, a stick user who spends the same amount of time.
I'm going to tell you.
No, I know, but I mean, like a stick user who spends the same amount of time in Star Citizen as a keyboard and mouse user may have a slower learning curve, so they may be worse than the mouse user.
If you guys don't optimize this for trackball, I'm not playing it anymore because I want my trackball to be balanced with the stick and the mouse.
But generally, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because all it matters is if you're comfortable with it. Yeah, it may take you a little bit more time, but I've seen, I know, I play with people who use these.
Yeah,
and they're amazing, and they're ridiculously good at it.
Yeah, I can't fly a ship with that at all. But I can play FPS with it, but I can't fly a ship with it at all. Yeah. I can drive a car with it. I can probably drive that beautiful Rover. Is probably going to be sexy on the gamepad for me, too. But ships, no way. And I agree with you 100%. I think it boils down to people are more skilled because you can point in any direction, and we have a Star Citizen player that is amazing on keyboard and mouse. Like, amazing. You could just say, oh, yeah. And you have other guys that have the full pedals and HOTAS out, and they're amaze balls and stuff like that. So I don't think it's so much an issue as much about people saying one item is superior to the other. Just some people are better at one item than the other.
It was very much an issue up until about 1.2. In 0.08, it wasn't an issue because everybody had auto aim, and nobody realized they had auto aim until they took it away, and then it became obvious that there was something wrong with joysticks. But up until about 1.2, it was a real issue. If you looked at the stats and all that, the mouse users were outstripping every other control system by a stupidly wide margin. And and then of course it really came to a head famously with the Sledge 2s when they were overpowered, because they were, at the time, you could gimbal 6 Sledge 2s on a Super Hornet, and a mouse user could just obliterate because they were one-shot kills with 6 of them on any other ship. And so yeah, that is what led to the introduction eventually of ESP and the gimbal size up, size down system and all that. And at this point, I think it's pretty much balanced out, and like you said, now it's really determined based on your skill with your personal choice of flight style more than what your peripheral is. Now that doesn't mean that there aren't better peripherals out there. I mean, a guy who's flying with a T-16,000 or Warthog is going to be far more accurate than a guy who's flying with a Logitech 3D Pro, just because those things have amazingly, stupidly accurate Hall effect sensors. It's why a lot of us use them.
Yep. And that goes back to the hardware discussion. Certain hardware is better than others, and
wait until Track IR and so wait till Track IR and the VR goggles get in, then those people are just going to be just disgustingly accurate compared to your average.
I don't know, the funny thing about that. I was talking with Mike from Track IR over during PAX, and he talks about Hydro Big Bang, and they've all decided that at Track IR that Hydro Big Bang is a mutant. Because what he does with Track IR, they can't even replicate in-house at Track IR, the accuracy he gets with it. So there'll be a few out there that are stupidly accurate, like Hydro Big Bang, but that's only because they have some mutant X gene that makes them better than the rest.
And I think when it comes to hardware, the only way, I mean, we're PC gamers, so the only way you're going to get this level playing field that gamers want and all this stuff is go play console. That's the only way where you have match machines, everybody's got the same, everything's there, because you're going to have hardware differences, you're going to have peripheral differences and stuff, but that's why we love PC games. So I think they've balanced as much as they're going to.
And I think that's the key as well, is that you have to understand that this is a PC game, so we're not dealing with a Halo, a Call of Duty, where everyone's playing the same thing. I'm going to freaking open a space bar in the universe. I mean, McKetton's going to be a mercenary. I don't know what. Are you going to be a smuggler, moonshiner, or something like that, or a trader? Yeah. So we all have different backgrounds of what we want to do. Me being a good pilot has nothing to do with me being a space bartender. It does where it does have more for McKetton, but McKetton's ability to understand how the trading systems work doesn't mean jack shit to him as a mercenary, because he just wants to kill things and win. That's what matters to him. So at the end of the day, it's the question itself is actually kind of flawed, because it's not what control methods you use, it's how you play the game and what game you're playing in terms of
unless you're planning on being a competitive dogfighter and Arena Commander, or being some sort of esports guy in there, which it would matter then, because maybe that's but
it's 1% of the population. Yeah, exactly. Less than 1% of the population.
Yep, I'd agree with that. All right, next question. It says, question: do you plan to employ players off the bat after release? And if so, what are your ideas? So,
well, I have a carrot. But here's the thing: we've all talked about this too. To employ players means you're going to need them, and the reality of it is, when this game goes live, we're not going to be flying our big ships right away, because they're going to be expensive, and we won't have any fucking money. We're going to have to take out our little single-seaters, our starter ships, and earn the money to make it worthwhile for me to then try to fly that Carrack.
And Ben Lesnick's already supported that thing. That you're going to have to work your way up, even through mission sets, to get access to get the big trade stuff. Anyway, you're going to have to start out. Everybody's going to start out low.
Yeah, everyone's starting out with a reputation of this. Bingo, of nothing. You zilch. You got nothing. You're starting off as intro level courier.
So if you upgraded your starter pack to an Endeavor and that's your only ship, I'm sorry. So you need to buy something small too. It's gonna have to happen.
Yep.
But yeah, I know I'm obviously Overwatch is mercenary, so all we do is employ people to do stuff. So that's kind of enough said. Moon, what about
I've already said I'm going to hire Overwatch to be my janitor.
Or exactly. And then we'll see if Moon's
just
hire stuff.
Moon's just smuggling all the best booze to the
astrophiles. Exactly. He's
just bringing
weed.
Yeah, all
the space weed and escorts.
Yeah.
Prettiest of escorts, not escort fighters, but escorts.
Yeah, the male escorts, because it's
yes, all the male escorts, the pretty male escorts.
You got to keep Captain Richard happy.
So you gonna trust people to hire them for your smuggling team, or are you gonna be more Han Solo and have just a Chewbacca with you?
Oh shit, man! I'm a streamer. Can't we just take people from our chat and be like, hey man, come play with me?
You could.
I'm not going to pay
you
anything.
because
I'm
it's
not.
a
I'm not going to
reward.
pay you. Come play with me, bro.
Just play me
Come
for
on,
free,
man.
bro.
It's
We'll
all
get you
for fun.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see what happens when it's fleshed out. I'm
I
interested to see
will
what the
definitely be
NPCs
hiring
do.
people. One of the things I like about playing it right now is I've already figured out a lot of people that I can trust and people I can't trust. Throughout this time we've been playing, people who I see that make the right decisions at the right times, people who aren't opportunistic when it comes to things like Arena Commander and whatnot. The people who automatically go for whatever the best meta is in Arena Commander are not the kind of people I'm going to want to hire in the PU, because they've already demonstrated to me that they will do whatever it takes so they succeed, not so that the gameplay is the best. They don't care about other people's gameplay experience. It's all about theirs. Those kind of people they're not going to get hired by me.
And with me, like, what I need other players for is protection, mostly because I want to make sure that the place is, okay. And so having a good reputation with other streamers and other players and other organizations is important to me, but also having people I can trust who will have a gun, who I know I can trust enough that they will murder somebody if they're stepping out of line in the pub. And I can trust, like, if someone goes, "You just shot my friend," it's like, well, I trust ego that you probably were a dick and probably were doing something stupid. So that's the only reason why you would have shot you. So that kind of, like, I'm going to have to to a degree, because I'm not going to hire an NPC. What is an NPC going to do? Like, once I've already gotten a gun pulled on me and shot in the face. Like, stop, criminal scum.
What's that sound?
And that's
What's
exactly,
that sound?
Like, my entire organization of Overwatch is built around a mercenary pool where we open up to affiliates and we have internal guys, and we rate the system based on their performance, and then they get hired for different contracts, because if they're better, they get on the better jobs. If they're new, they got to work their way up to that. So it's all based on hiring people and subleasing people out from our organization out for crews. If you don't want NPCs and you want a rated crew that's supported by our guys, you can hire those guys, and that way they get the different crew experience. So we have a whole metric for all that. So yeah, I'd say that's going to be 95% of our business at our org. So
to the people making the comments in chat, yes, right now that's you saber pilots. There's a reason I call it the Aegis douche canoe. It's because you right now, if you're flying that ship in Arena Commander, especially with 4 ballistics on it, you're doing it because you're a douchebag, not because you want to play the game. Because you know that ship is broken, you know those ballistics are broken, and you're using it despite all that.
And that to be said is why I don't play Arena Commander, but the same exact reason why, if there's a way for me to be successful and make my team successful, I'll do it. So, like, when Korea's locked down with 5 people, I will abso-fucking-lutely glitch the door, not come through the parental property, and break the game and win. And I will do it every time, and I'll tell people that. But if it's just Moonshiner on the other side, and I know I'm just fighting him, I'll go through the door, But I know if people have it locked down, I'll take every advantage I possibly can to beat the 5 people inside versus myself. I don't care.
Actually, your Eve is showing. Your Eve is showing all over you.
I know, right? It is. Sorry, had to brush it off. Anyway, so we'll move on down the line here. Let's see. The next question is a pretty good one as well. Full Octane asks, do you think people will exploit the bounty system, putting a bounty on friends' heads to transfer currency? I think Chris Roberts has already talked about being very aware of that type of exploitation, and they're trying to build a system around not being able to do that. And one of the main key factors, whereas in EVE that was a little bit of a problem because we all had bounties on our heads from various operations, but it meant nothing because I could literally have Moonshiner shoot me in EVE Online, and I just get paid, whatever you guys put the bounty on me. So it was totally exploitable. Here, if death really matters, you're probably not going to kill yourself unless it's a lot of money, and even then, they're probably going to make you bring a corpse, check it in somewhere, saying, hey, dead or alive bounty on this guy. That's what the whole point of, like, the Avengers and the little imprisonment containers and all that stuff are. I don't think it's going to be so simple, like turning yourself in to try to do that. Yeah. So
no,
it's a little different metric.
And I think on top of that is that there's going to be a whole mechanic where, like, alive is better than dead, and you're going to want to, and like, I don't know, maybe it's the sick twisted in me, but if I ever put a bounty on somebody who's messed with me, I want to see them alive. I want to see them lose their game time because
but that's not how that's going to work.
It's not. It turns you into NPC and all that. But yeah, I get what your point with that. But I just had a thought, Eric. Maybe that dinging noise, maybe the Mario Kart dinging noise, is them collecting bounties. Maybe it's that easy to shoot the guy. Ding! Coins come out of it.
It's literally a coin dropping into the
what is that? Was that the Streets of Rage or whatever? Where it's like, and they just cough out coins.
There you go. All right, so
That was a fun game, too,
Galkert,
Streets of
I do
Rage.
see your question. I'm not going to go into it because I think they already addressed that, and he asked it earlier in the
Yeah.
show about the Logitech Saitek. Xenoman says the network code is supposedly getting help from some people along with a lot of experience. And he links to the GitHub stuff about where, like the netcode upgrades, where we've talked about in previous shows, I think, where they're getting the source of doing all that. And you can see their gold level backer probably getting some support from them.
Yeah.
So I do have the confidence that will be a massive improvement, blah, blah, blah. Were any of you aware that CIG was getting help from them?
Yes.
Yes.
Not until they talked about it, though. Once they started talking about it, we knew about it. But, I didn't hear about it until they had made an announcement.
Eric told me, so I knew about it.
Yeah.
Eric tells me.
I don't know
all
anything
sorts
about
of stuff.
this. What is this?
It
There's
is an open source group of people dedicated to making better network communications all around on the internet,
Not
not
just
just for gaming,
games.
but
Yeah,
all
For
around.
everything.
And basically, they got linked up.
CIG
with
is a gold level back. They put a lot of money into it.
Now, it should be said that one of the things that Tony Zervek was doing before he came back to work for video games was work with in the financial sector. And he was doing things like software that helped with financial sector.
Right.
So things like net coding and economy rehearsal and that kind of stuff was all in his bailiwick.
And
so
speed and accuracy is really important there. Milliseconds are billions of dollars in trading on the financial sector.
So these are, CIG and Tony's relationship with Chris is very, very tight. So you can you can be fairly sure that the reason why they chose it was for reasons beyond just, I've never heard of them because they've never done a game before, but because they probably have billions of dollars of clients whom they've helped with that you've probably never heard of because they run the world kind of concept. So
All right, we're gonna go through.
Is there
rapid
somebody
fire
talking
here.
about pay to win in the chat now? Good
I
lord.
don't know. We'll
Guys, if you think this game is pay to win, I'll take you one-on-one in my Aurora, and you can pick whatever ship you want. End of
I'll give you
discussion.
it.
There you
I'll
go.
give you that shit.
You could always bring that discussion over to my show after this show. Anyway, so Debris Field, yes, we're hyped about that for you. Thank you. This is sort of my rapid fire. That way we can get towards the end of this. Angel asked, what about Herald and G? What if you get the special suit and the physics that insert the G totally in that, or the fast ship into one? I don't understand what the question is.
G Suit.
G suit?
G suits are not going to handle 97 Gs, not even in the future.
I think it's just saying like the idea is, again, it's a game. Having an item that would help you handle G's
They
better
did
than
talk
your.
about specialty
they did
suits
talk-
possibly in there and stuff, but I don't know all about how far they want to go with that or.
Yeah.
anything,
Back in the
so.
day, isn't that like the whole thing with like the flight suit? The flight suit is the
It would
where
reverse
the
pressure.
difference between the difference between wearing a flight suit versus wearing the heavy armor is you can fly better. You're less likely to pass out.
Yeah, and the astronauts and stuff would have stuff which you could kind of pressurize different ways and to help protect against G forces and stuff. But I don't know how far that goes and everything. Outside the realm of that. So yeah, we're gonna skip that one. Let's see. Will there be a spawn timer so that when I pirate a ship, the owner will not be able to respawn
essentially.
or come out straight back and shoot the shit out of me? It depends how long you take. I don't know. I mean, it depends on
it
respawn,
depends
too.
on where you are because the issue is physically has to be replaced in the
Right.
universe.
And where his respawn point is. If there's
Exactly.
an Endeavor
The
close
nearest-
by, he
yeah.
might be able to be right on your ass again. If the nearest planet where you can respawn at is like a solar system away or two, then good luck.
Yeah, if you're a dumb pirate and you pirated a ship while there's a Cutlass Red and its squad still around there, you better believe he's going to be on that turret shooting your ass up the second he
Or if
wakes
it-
up on that bed.
Or if you bite off more you can chew and you're a freelancer and you just took a Starfarer and you're trying to unload the thing, good luck again.
Yeah,
You might
good
be
luck.
there forever doing that. So, bird, just get the good shit and get out. Question: hunting alien creatures, animals on planets. What mechanics would need to be included with this to appease you?
I don't care.
I mean, simple tracking techniques that we already exist. Like it exists in Arc, or not Arc, There are a couple of games you can do that where like you can like find tracks and figure out what tracks it is, so long as you know what the tracks are.
I don't
It's
think
already
it's
in
going to
the
be a huge part of my gameplay anyway. I don't think
No.
I'm going to be, because I don't really need to do the loincloth walk around thing. That's why I used to play Ark for.
Yeah, is this No Man's Sky? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if we need that. This is
I
all
mean-
about like the professions and doing stuff like that and interacting with people.
I mean, I could see
really
the
have-
appeal. It's like
I can
you
see it
could
for
do a
scientific,
mission
like if you're gathering
yeah.
species as a scientist and you're trying to, bioengineer something up in your endeavor, maybe if that's the gameplay you want, but I don't see
Or
that.
Is
you're
that
sending-
gameplay?
You're sending
Is
like
that
a
even-
luxury. Yeah, it is, and you have
They're
like a
supposed
luxury.
to have flora and fauna on the plants, but I'm just saying, even if it's there, it's not something I'm really interested in personally, so I probably wouldn't do it.
That's plant life. I mean, but have they said anything about hunting aliens or
Yeah,
or
animals.
animals on
mentioned that.
planets?
They've discussed, like
They've
flora
said
and fauna.
birds. They've said birds.
I think what at the end of the day, what's going to happen is more than likely they're going to have some sort of plant life and animal life. More than likely, we're going to see some repeated. Like we're not going to see a deer is 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 a deer. You may have a deer that like in No Man's Sky, you may have a deer that has like one horn out of its forehead. You may have a deer with a horn growing out its butt. Whatever. It's just it's going to be the same kind of same structure. And if you're going to have to do a scientific test on it, or if you have like a luxury mission where you have to take some rich asshole to go around and shoot these things so you can like pose with
Or
them.
maybe you're a trapper and you go around different worlds and gather species. I just don't think it's going to be that.
It's not
detailed
even
in that.
It's
And
not
he-
going to be
Yeah.
not even the repair or the mining or they're going to be somewhat detailed, but then we're not going to be like, this is the track of the alpine wolf. We must be careful because he can smell us downwind.
Yeah.
Oh, clever girl. They're not going to have that stuff.
Yeah. You must
It's
go
not
to the
Jurassic Park.
third
It's-
planet from the
it's-
sun of this and like get
Yeah.
the one teardrop of blood and a bat wing from. No, I don't think they're going to do all that. But even if they did, I'd just kind of scratch my head and say, "Can I have more spaceships, please?" So just me.
Yeah. I think the most we'll ever encounter is like, some guy paying us so we can take him to a planet so we can hunt people. The hunt things,
So John Wayne had an interesting question there, and I'm going to take a bio while you guys answer it. His question is, how do you feel about anti-glare glass for your helmet and ship to reduce the HDR bloom and improve visibility? Do you think that should be a thing in game?
Wasn't that termed a bug?
Yeah, it's a bug. It doesn't need to be a thing because this is just a recurring bug that pops up every couple of patches when they change other lighting things. So they don't want that glare.
Yeah, it's how CryEngine renders reflections. It's not something that was intended with ships going like that.
And they've changed it before.
Yeah.
It's been fixed before and then unfixed and then fixed again. So.
Yeah, and that's when they change the lighting, especially for some reason, whenever they mess with the volumetric lighting, it really messes with some of CryEngine's default lighting systems, and it causes these problems. And it'll probably be gone with the next patch. That happens all the time.
Confirmed. Mitauchi is wizard.
You want to take a question while he's gone?
That's not a question. That's a statement. Which voice attack considered a cheat? No, it's not. We already answered this in chat.
It's actually worse.
It's not a cheat. The reason why, once again, the reason why the terms of service say that using macros and whatnot can be illegal is to prevent gold farming. It's a boilerplate thing that exists in almost all MMOs, so that if they catch you gold farming, they can say that you violated the TOS by having a macro program run your character for you. It's not so that they can just say macros are illegal, because if they did, then this is illegal because every fucking joystick has a macro program with it. If they did, then this is illegal because every fucking keyboard now has a macro program with it.
Hell, your freaking mice have macro keyboards.
Windows by default has a macro program built into it now.
Yeah, it's designed not just to prevent gold farming, but it's also designed to prevent botting. So you can have someone just auto create, it's
a boilerplate thing there, so they can say yes, you violated the TOS when they catch you doing that. You can't say I didn't know. They say in the TOS it says no macros. You're using macros to run a bot.
Well, and that's the same argument somebody asked earlier in chat about voice attack and stuff. Should it be permitted?
Yeah, that was the question.
That was the question.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So voice attack's awesome. I don't personally use it when I stream, but I have the program and I use it for tons of fucking games and all sorts of other stuff that I do at my computer. And it's amazeballs. And if you
And I
didn't
think
have
it's
that,
super
guess what?
immersive.
Windows has a default program that does the same thing. So even if you didn't have an outside program, you could actually use your operating system and do the same thing. And I would also argue, I have many friends that are vets that are disabled that have to use it to play EVE Online or this game. So if you did that, there would be actually an argument on you're actually preventing people who are disabled from playing. So
Well, that's
Which
where
is,
a
yeah.
lot of these macros come. I mean, like I said, Windows has a built-in macro program that is for accessibility purposes.
that's
It's for people.
what it's called, accessibility, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
All right, guys, I think at that point we're going to kind of start to pull the plug out. We're going to draw this gift card. Make sure, again, that you are a member of all the channels, and you have to make sure you have followed. We'll get, I don't know, is Toy still alive? We got to make sure we get one more link in there for all the different streamers. It's exclamation mark Sprash Bro.
I just made 24 hours. It's now 11 o'clock my time.
There you go.
It's been 24 hours.
Perfect.
Good night.
Now he
It's gone.
he closes his
No,
helmet.
no,
You did it.
nobody
You can't see
wins
him in his
because we
eyes.
can't see if you followed him
Yeah.
or not. So again, last time, make sure everybody's entered there and done that, and we're getting ready to do this stuff, guys. It's if you didn't enter the keyword yet, it's already over on that because that's closed down after the 1 hour time frame we had on it. So it just closed up a few minutes ago. But stay with us because right after this show, we're having a raffle for a Super Hornet with 6 months insurance on it. So you might want to hang out. Not if you didn't get enough sleep before. Now you're really est. So good luck. Let's draw this, and we're gonna get do our wrap up and start to get out of here, and then we're gonna get my show started right after the show for the after show for Space Bros. All right. So, yeah, how are we gonna do this?
I'm ready to check and deny the winner.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome. You're gonna love.
I always
that.
love denying them,
Thank-
especially when
thank
you
God
get so
for
many
him.
follows, and then it's like the one guy you draw didn't follow us every
Hey,
time.
Or you always just pick the one guy you don't like. You're just like,
Oh, that
F,
too.
F that guy. I don't like him at all. We're going to make sure he doesn't win anything ever again. All right, so let me get a new screen cap over here because we have to.
ZX is trying to come up with a way to type in shenanigans without getting timed out.
Oh, I'd
And
be
it keeps-
careful because if you get timed out and your name's drawn, I will not save your ass. It's just the way it's going to go down. You'll be screwed, and that's just it. And so, again, guys, if you're from my stream and you've won a spaceship in the last 7 days, you do not qualify for this raffle. We're trying to make sure we spread the love around to everybody else, too. Let me go ahead and get that set there, and this should... Bam, there we go. We have screen! It's amazeballs. All right, so here's the way it's going to work, guys. The way we do this in my channel is we have a claim word, and we're going to have a claim word pop up on the screen here in a second, and that will be the word you have to use in order to claim your prize. If you say the claim word and your name is not drawn, you will be probably banned and purged from the channel for a little while, and you will not qualify for this prize or any of the other future prizes like a Super Hornet tonight. So I probably wouldn't blow your chance on a $25 gift card to be an asshole. Other than that, make sure that you don't say the winner's name or anything else in chat, you know, blah, blah, blah. If you are a sub of my channel, you will not have to claim word, but you still have to make sure you follow all the others. So we're going to just employ that sub auto claim, but you have to make sure you followed all the others. And if they tell me you haven't, we'll just keep rerolling until we find somebody that has. So I'd like to wish everybody good luck, and we'll put up the claim word here for just a little bit for you, if it pops up. That's not going to pop up, watch.
The password is
Password is
swordfish. Swordfish.
Ooh, you're in trouble.
All right. That's it, guys. All right, good luck, everybody. And
Xanax had a great idea. You should have done that.
all right, it looks like yep, we got Manglagar is the winner, and we're gonna make sure that he's in everybody's channel. So
He is
guys-
definitely in mine.
okay.
I don't have to check.
He just said that he did not have me that he had just added me
Okay.
like right before this,
Okay.
but I do not have him in my
I see.
no, here he is. He is here. He is in mine. He
Okay.
is followed yesterday.
Good.
He's been following me since January.
So Moon, did you say he was good too?
All good.
Hold on.
Yep.
Oh, good.
I
All
might,
right,
be
bro.
looking, I might be looking at this wrong. Hold on.
Oh.
Let me check my.
He loves me more than he loves you guys, though. He's been following me all year.
He just found me apparently. So.
Well, I'm glad we could help contribute that one person tonight.
That one person, the one
One
person who's gonna unfollow me after this. Yeah. Yeah, no, he's the last person who followed me.
Nice.
Very last
Talk
person.
about ringing it. He's like literally just hit the button. It's like he gets his name.
Oh, wait. I forgot the asshole with the helmet. What was his name? Oh, fuck. Oh, God. Yeah.
Well, you know the deal. Send me your information for your RSI handle and email via Twitch message me. And he's like, I've watched all you guys. I'm like, yeah, bet you have. Bet you have.
You probably watch me. Follow. That's the key.
Absolutely. So, guys, again, thank you, everybody, for being here. Moonshiners, Eric, Astropub. Guys, make sure, again, that you've given these guys a follow, tweet out about them, watch them when they're online. They're some of my favorite people to watch, except for Eric. I'm contractually obligated to watch his show because he's
That's
online.
right.
That's just the way it works.
But
I got damn good
on the record
lawyers.
to say that Eric is a horrible diva of the Star Citizen universe.
I am the diva of the Star Citizen
He will
universe,
not work with
not
any
a
of us. He will not work with any of us unless we have like mile-long contracts we've signed.
That's right.
So
It's pretty dicky, but that's the way he rolls it out. So guys, we're gonna take a brief break. I'll kind of go off the air for about 4 or 5 minutes, and we're gonna come back with a Super Hornet raffle that'll be going on. It'll run for the next couple hours on my stream, and so stay tuned, and we'll get into that here in a minute, guys. But thank you so much for being here. Again, guys, we'll watch all of you. You guys got anything special you want to shout out before we go? Coming up, Moon? Yeah, anything coming up?
I stream every day.
Everybody's
Every day.
typing.
Come by.
He's got his,
Everybody's
come by,
typing
watch him. He's got his Monday podcast, which I did catch last Monday. It was really good. And make sure you watch Eric as he streams.
Come by if you want. Whatever you
Yeah,
want.
whatever you want. Be here.
Yeah,
There,
whatever.
Whatever.
Same
and,
here.
Astropub, make sure you go over there and call him a lot. We'll drag this out so he has to stay up for like another 24 hours.
I was gonna say, give him a couple days because he's gonna be passed out for like the next 3 days.
we do have the captain's table, which is an all test
There you go.
captain's table tomorrow, which is going to be with Miss
Who
Hartz.
are the guests?
So you can just skip it then if it's
Miss-
all test. I mean, it's like...
Miss Hartz, Witch Kitty, Meyer, and Bayer of Red, and I'm still working the last one. Part of the reason why I came on the show is just so I can sign a fucking contract to see if I can get Eric to get on there again, but we'll see. Because I talked with Redlear and he hasn't responded yet, so we'll figure that out. But yeah, so at least it'll be the perverse of the table, and for those of you who are fans of Redacted or Bad News Gaming, I'm going to do my best to get the next one to be one of those two as well. And just have a whole list of the Star Citizen crews talking Star Citizen, because it's always fun to deal with people individually and then as groups. So trying to do these theme things and see how they work. So
We need to come up with somebody needs to do a game show thing where it'd be like you could have like 2 test streamers and 2 redacted streamers or 2 bad news streamers and like play some sort of fun game on their stream.
no one would ever want test streamers. We are horrible people. No one should ever be following us.
No,
I don't
but we
even know
like
why.
beating you. That's fun.
Yeah, you like beating us. We like beer, so if you pay us in beer or alcohol,
We
we'll
could do that.
be fine. Yeah.
That's something we can all get together on. Is beers.
Beers, it brings the universe together. So guys, again, thank you for being here, guys. Everybody, we love your faces, and we will see you back here in about 5 minutes for the continuation of the after show for the Space Bro Show. Thank you, and have a wonderful night, guys.
Bye.
Peace out. You guys are terrible. I love your faces. I'm gonna hang up now so I can go handle some stuff. And thank you for being
All right.
on. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
bro.
Thank you for letting me on. Oh.